Hi guys, and welcome back to the 100th episode of
Anime Podcasters.
Oh, no, it's not gonna work.
Welcome to Anime Podcasters, everybody.
Oh my god, is that really the intro for the 100th episode?
Yeah, that's really the intro for the 100th episode. Really, I think it shows like about our mind place that we go whenever we record. It's just nonsensical and is a mess.
Congratulations.
It never works out how it's supposed to.
I am
Congrats.
so beyond happy to be here today. This has been in the works for so many months, and we have done something that very few podcasts do, and that's reach triple digits. That's insane. So to my left, I have GoProkyo, who I started the podcast with, the artist for the podcast. Very happy to have you on today. How are you, my friend?
I guess I'm on the left side.
All right, cool.
You are on the left.
Austin's on the right side.
I'd like to believe you guys are like sitting on a bunk bed and I'm just like looking down from the top bunk.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's how this podcast is gonna go.
Basically.
I'm not sure what's going on anymore.
Don't
Just
even worry
how
about
are you,
it.
Kyo? How are you, Kyo?
I'm okay.
All right, cool.
I've actually been excited to get to this episode because this means that we've got a whole bunch of stuff that's coming out for post episode 100. We've got a lot of plans for new episodes, new ideas that we want to try. I also had some ideas I want to pitch to you guys later, but I guess we'll get to that after the recording. So, Austin, how are you doing?
I'm
You live
just
with me.
fine. I 5+ years though to get to this point. That's 20 episodes a year. just
about, yeah.
kind of like we've really been doing this show that no one listens to for 5 years.
Oh man! Ow!
Which I know.
Hold up,
I know
hold
now
up.
that we actually have an audience for. I'm obviously pulling a
Yeah.
joke, but they're mainly on platforms that I like don't keep an eye on constantly, like Jaden, you do. The only one I really have is YouTube, so it's just kind of it still kind of blows my mind that we even got to episode 100.
Me too. Like, I am so happy, and like episode 1000, bro. I'm looking at you.
Yeah,
You're
I
far.
might retire at that point.
So I'm gonna let
I'll have
Hotshot.
to come back in.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Hotshot explain the topic. All I want to say before, as a precursor, this episode right now, if you're in your house, go grab a snack. If there's a corner store around the corner, go grab something to drink or eat, because this is going to be a very, very long episode. It will guaranteedly be our longest episode to date because we have over 30 picks to go through of things.
Yeah.
What are we doing,
Yeah,
Hotshot?
Is
Yeah,
this the
luckily
first
you
time?
guys-
Is this the first time everybody has done a top 10?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always been like top
Wow.
5 until now.
Yeah. We always would go for like 5 each because we were afraid of it going too long. But I was always like, I think we should go longer.
Well, here's our chance. This is a test to see if we can like keep this thing going.
We will.
Just see how long we can go. Get some gravity endurance training going.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, guys. So what the topic is today is it's each individual top 10 animes. It's our own personalized list of top 10 animes that we all enjoy. And the way we're going to do it is a little bit different since we've been really good friends for a long time. And there's obviously been some shows that we all really love, or just like two of us love and one of us doesn't, so on and so forth. The way the list is going to work is we're going to go down the list like we usually would from 10 to 1. But if we come across a show that the other person has on a list, say, for instance, someone has the anime Berserk on their list, and it's placed at like say number 10, but someone else has it on 8. We're gonna get both people's point of view from why they put the show where they put it, and they're gonna announce this is actually my 10 spot and this is actually my 8 spot. But the person who had it later on in the list, say in the 8 spot, we skip them when 8 comes around, and then we just keep going on down the list. There's going to be some crosswire things happening with the picks and the shows. Honestly, we've all looked at each other's lists already. There isn't going to be that much, but just so you know, that's where we're going to go ahead with this. So, just so you guys know going forward.
1000%. Okay. Who would like to go first? Who wants to break the iceberg? Not the ice, the iceberg.
Out of curiosity, are we just gonna go through each other's list like one by one, or are we gonna go by number?
By
entry?
number.
We're gonna go by number entry.
Okay.
Kyo, you say you're 10.
We do
Jayden,
the
you
round
say you're
table.
10.
Yeah. We do the round table, like who's number 10, who's number 9,
Yeah.
so on.
Yes.
But the only
Okay, yeah.
difference is like if you come across a show that's later on in Jaden's list, then he'll announce then. When we all talk about that show, he'll announce if it's actually where in his list, and
I'm
then
just gonna
we
say
keep
like
going.
flat out that I'm just gonna say flat out already. None of us have a placement that's in the or have the same placement in a different spot. All your placements are in the same spot.
Oh shit! Yeah. Well, we'll worry about that when we get around to it.
We'll get to them. We'll get to them when we get to them. But it's scary how these lined up without us not having seen each other's lists until they were in the doc.
To be fair, there were last minute changes, I think, from everyone except Jaden.
Bro,
No, all I did was add my honorable mention. That's it.
Yeah,
Alright.
I did an actual change. All right, I vote Kyo
Oh,
goes
okay.
first.
I mean,
Oh, Kyo goes first.
If you want
I guess
Kyo.
that's how it, all right. Okay. So for my number 10,
honorable mention.
I
Honorable
ended
mention
up going
first.
with
Wait, honorable
Wait, what?
mention first? I thought honorable mention was going to be after 1.
No, because 1 is the big finale, right? You on like one that didn't make it on your list, you know? This one is like 11.
Well, then well, if that's the case, then do we start with our honorable mentions first?
Yes.
Okay, I
That's
just didn't know that going in.
Sorry, that's why I placed it like
Okay.
above on the list. I'm sorry, I should have explained that better. But yes, honorable mentions first, please. It's like number 11, basically, guys.
Okay,
So like where we didn't, so the ones that we didn't have
just shy
room
of
for
making it on
is
our
the
list.
one that we're
Exactly.
gonna go with first. Okay, that's totally. I can see that.
Yeah, I just didn't know
So-
going in, but we're all good.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Kyo.
Yeah. So honorable mention, which I guess is how we're starting this, is for me is Fullmetal Alchemist. And personally, like I can't say I would put like Brotherhood over the other or like over the original because quite frankly, I like both of them just for different reasons. And I mostly put it in my honorable mention because like it was one that I kind of got into like later in the game and I finished it just like 2 years ago now, I think.
Finish the original Fullmetal Alchemist?
No. I finished the original back in like high school, but then there's Brotherhood, which Brotherhood is a little bit longer. There's like 8 seasons, I think, or something like that. No, not 8. There's like at least 6 of them.
So okay, so just because I don't know, I've watched Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood with you quite a bit,
Yeah.
but not the original. What's the main difference between Brotherhood and the original?
Well, biggest difference is that Brotherhood is almost like 1-for-1 to the manga of Full Metal Alchemist.
But Brotherhood takes liberties with it.
Yeah, no. Brotherhood is the one that is like 1-for-1 to the manga.
Oh, okay. So the
Like,
original.
So the original is like, so you know how like Dragon Ball would always like stretch out their episodes and like add filler that didn't matter.
Yeah.
It was basically the same thing, except the manga creator said, wrap it up how you guys want to do it. So like the studio basically went about it and then finished it how they thought it should end, which is really cool. And I actually think that there are some elements that the original did a little better than Brotherhood, but ultimately I think Brotherhood is a stronger version just because it's just because of the way it's written and the way it paces itself out is really fascinating to me.
But you still like the original more, or enough
yeah.
to just barely not put it on the list.
Yeah, I think I just mean to put like just Full Metal Alchemist as like a franchise on there because I've read the manga and I've watched both of the anime and I like both of them. They were just a little bit later in my anime career or like anime career. My experience of watching anime was a little bit later, so it doesn't quite have the kind of nostalgia factor to it for me, not nearly as much at least. So I think the rest of my picks are a little bit nostalgia bias.
I
No, I
mean,
feel you on that.
I mean, that's what's going to happen. Like, if it's a show that you grew up with or around, it's going to hold a special place in your heart.
Yeah, I mean, I should say that the original Full Metal Alchemist had a special place in my heart because I grew up watching that like middle of high school, and then I don't know if I told Jaian about this, but like Austin, you remember my senior project that I did.
Yeah, which
So
I'm not gonna go there.
I probably will because I don't think Jaian knows what I'm talking
He did
about.
not graduate.
Yeah, well,
No.
we'll just leave it to the two of us. It's fine.
I'll go ahead and tell him you can just sit down and cringe in the corner.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
So basically, Jaian, I don't know if I told you before. We may have, but basically for my final project in high school, American high school has you do like a final project to just show that you can like put forth the motivation and produce something, like be it a job experience or put together like a full project, which is what I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up doing a dub of the first episode of Brotherhood.
Oh my
with,
God.
the voice acting club. And if you saw, or like if you heard the sound design, you would absolutely hate it.
All right,
You
so
would-
my
I did-
honorable
I
mention
did
actually
roast him.
make.
You would roast him on a steak.
Hey, no, I respect anyone who like starts out and like my first sound design was garbage, and so I
Right.
totally understand. I want to go back to Fullmetal Alchemist though really quickly because
Yeah.
what comes to mind when we talk about Fullmetal Alchemist to me is when we had Asvik on the podcast and we talk about the death of the mother and how horrible that scene was, and to me like I really always felt like how Fullmetal Alchemist to me is a very tragic story, but wrapped in fantasy, almost like a dark fantasy is the way I see it. I see it having darker themes than other animes. It's always seemed to me that there's like a constant struggle throughout the main character's growth. I've never seen Fullmetal Alchemist, but from like what I read up on it before the podcast, like that's what the narrative feels like to me. Like that's what the story represents. Like just this character that gets like not screwed over, but like makes a huge mistake and lives with with what happens and grows throughout all of the adventures he goes on.
So
Pretty much. I mean, I would say like the whole series is kind of just about coming into your own and realizing that like even your mistakes help shape who you are as a person.
100%.
So does it hold a special place to you too, then, Jaden?
To me, it holds its place where it's on my plan to watch list. That's how I hold it.
You know what? That's kind of a special place because unlike me, you'll actually watch them.
Yeah, it's not like a dusty bookshelf of like, oh, I'll watch this like 5 years later. Oh, I'll watch it. Oh no, I got spoiled. No.
Hey, 5 years later, I watched 2 episodes. It's fine. We
Oh,
have different watch styles.
exactly.
Oh man.
Exactly. Would you like to go next on Hotshot or should I go next? I'll let you pick.
I'll have you go next.
All right. So this honorable mention for me is strictly nostalgic. Like oh sorry, I moved my mic. I wouldn't even watch this
Yeah,
nowadays.
pure nostalgia is probably the best way I would describe this entry.
Yeah, like I wouldn't even watch this like now. Like if someone was like, "Hey, do you want to watch this tonight?" I was like, "No, I really don't want to watch this." But like this show, that's why it doesn't make my list. Like this isn't even number 11 to me, in my opinion. This is like number like 48. But this show was so important to me and like was so part of my life when I was like 11, 12, 13 years old. Like it really meant a lot to me and I really related to the character. And the meme is that Hotshot calls me Jaden. Well, the main character in that series is called Jaden because the pick is Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. To me, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX was like the cool kid Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. Like if you watch GX and you got the Dual Academy Dual Disc and you got the Elemental Heroes, like you're the coolest. There's no other way. Like I went out of my way to like be like Jaden and to collect the cards he had and speak like him. And I was heavily influenced. And I just want to mention this anime as a landmark in my anime watching career and my Yu-Gi-Oh! Enjoyment. That's really how I see it, honestly.
I actually had a couple of Jaden's cards growing up when I
Well, give 'em back to
Yu-Gi-Oh!
me.
Cards.
Give him back to me. No.
I don't have them anymore. It's the same kind of deal that I had with Slifer. I lost him in a move or
I
lost him
remember
growing
that.
up. Or
I
just
remember you
something
saying
happened.
that. Still bugs me.
But I had the Elemental Heroes Sparkman and Flame Wingman.
Oh yeah. That's
So
the stuff.
growing up for me though, GX actually was my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh. Before I developed taste. So
Whoa! No.
You're the one who was just saying that you wouldn't even watch it today.
Yes, but growing up, I loved it.
No, I did too. Before I developed taste, is what I just said.
I had taste.
I didn't watch this shit on Toonami before, or like when I was a kid. I thought you guys were fucking nerds when I was a kid. Like the people who played.
Bro,
and
we're
watched
literally
Yu-Gi-Oh.
hosting a
Well, look,
podcast
you
about
joined
anime.
the masses. Now
we
you're
are
the
nerds.
Oh yeah, I
fucking
joined the
nerd.
masses, but I like the original Yu-Gi-Oh. I hate GX.
Yo, let's just go to Hotshot's pick. I can't even right now, bro. I can't.
Look, it's nostalgic to me and Jaden, and that's all that matters. It's not a good show, but it holds the spirit of
Well,
a
honestly,
good
like,
show
it's
by
like-
I do
stomping it
think-
in the dirt.
It's not like a bad
I do
show
think-
in the sense. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, Kyo. Go ahead.
Sorry, you go ahead.
I just wanted to say, like Beyblade was really, really, really bad. Like Yu-Gi-Oh! GX
Yeah.
wasn't like
Yeah.
really, really bad. You know what I mean? Like I don't think calling it a bad show does this justice because like the characters were actually like not one dimensional. The duels were good. Like they were like interesting, and I got invested, and there was a lot of like cool themes in there. I don't think it was like bad. You know what I mean? Like it is bad now because we're like mid-20s, but like back then, it was good. Yeah.
Which, I mean, yeah.
by like a 12-year-old standard.
Yeah, when it
Yeah.
it came out and when we were younger, it was fine. Our tastes changed. That's fine.
Yeah.
Like me,
I was
for
just
instance,
gonna say that I think that like Yu-Gi-Oh in general is just funny, like especially if you just watch the English dub. Like I do like GX's English dub because it actually makes me laugh. I actually have like a bunch of recommendeds for like Yu-Gi-Oh GX clips on my YouTube.
Oh man, it's I just nostalgia, like just straight up nostalgia. The games too, like dude, like just it's a good series in that sense.
Like I said, I never really got on the boat when I was a kid. Like I just thought it was really like I had the same thought that just about everybody had, which was like that it was like diet Pokemon, basically.
Diet Pokemon.
that's kind of the same deal as me because yeah, I was exposed to Pokemon before I was to Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was exposed to Digimon before either one of those. So it's just kind of like, okay, it's the same kind of collect them all and battle kind of situation.
I mean,
Right.
kinda, yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Is that all we
Hotshot.
had on GX?
Yeah. I mean, it's GX, bro.
Okay, that's fair.
All right, your turn, Hotshot. What is your honorable mention?
So my honorable mention is a show I brought on, or I've talked a little bit about on and off podcast. It's Rosario Vampire. And if you guys remember me talking about this, it's a show where it takes place in a school setting. It's surrounded by monster girls with one guy. It's a harem style anime that's complete comedy more than anything. And I just love the kind of world and atmosphere it's built around. It's extremely gothic, extremely, well, lack of a better word, monstrous. And the characters you
would
meet are actually really,
pers-
really sweet.
Yeah. You know what? Just because you said gothic, I kind of imagine that it's a weird mix between gothic and anime because of the pinkish or the pink colors that seem to pop up quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, they pop up because of Mocha, because of her hair, really.
I guess it'd be
Well-
pop gothic. I think that's the
Punk,
type that I
like
was thinking
90s punk gothic kind of air. I mean, there's
Yeah,
like a
definitely.
lot of red night skies that show up, but
Oh, yeah.
that they mainly show up like in vampire mode, like when Mocha turns vampire.
Is it me or do the 90s just really like red skies?
Dude, I really like red skies. I mean, I grew up with Batman the animated Batman series.
Dude, if there was a Batman anime when I was a kid, I'd be all over that shit.
Well, there's no one when you're an adult, so you'll probably be all over it now.
Yes, there is.
I said it. There is one when you're an adult. I said there is
Oh.
one.
Oh, I thought you
But-
said there isn't.
No,
Sorry.
there is. There is. But with
My bad.
it being Rosario, Rosario was like my first dirtier dive into anime. Really, there's a lot of like lewd, like upskirt shots. One of the characters is just a thirsty bitch, for lack of a better
Oh my
better term
god.
for it. It's just a series that I fell in love with. Like the joke is that she's horny. Mocha's like the shy kind of character around the guy she likes at first until she turns vampire. Then it's just get out of my way kind of air to it. I just fell in love with this kind of series because of this show. This was my first actual dive into it. So it still holds that kind of special place in my heart.
Which prompted us to do Ponzu Cast.
Yep.
Yeah. Correct me
That
if
and
I'm
a few
wrong.
other shows.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Hotshot, but this was like one of your influential anime picks, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, okay, I remember this. Like I looked into it, like I think what's appealing to it for me that makes me want to watch it, it's that it's set in a high school, and I always like those types of animes. I think that's like it's a common setting, but it's a relatable setting. It's something that we all go through in a sense.
Yeah.
But then like
I think that was something that we talked about back when we did a what was it, the pros and cons of anime.
yeah.
I think we should have just called that. I think we should have just called that like tropes, like anime tropes or something.
Or yeah, but then we wouldn't have had the longest episode title of all time. So I mean, you know,
That's true.
that's something you have to consider.
Yeah, you gotta take certain wins when you can find them because you're not gonna find them anywhere else.
Exactly.
That's perfectly fair.
But this anime piques my interest. Honestly, as you guys may know, I was on Ponsucast last episode, and I'm getting a little bit into Hotshot's territory. This one, I think if I had like 3 more series in me, I might be like drunk enough to step into the pool and fall over and watch 13 episodes.
I will send you the booze if you need it.
Give us the address that we've never heard of.
Yeah, let's not give out my address on the podcast. Let's not do that.
Not on the podcast. I mean later.
It's
Just in general.
no, I'm kidding. Yeah. No, but in all seriousness, like this is a hotshot show, but it's a hotshot show that I feel like is definitely not just that has depth to it. You know how we talked about that last time? I feel like the characters here aren't just like images to me. Like they're not just like physical the physicality of it is not the main focus. Like I can tell that there's like more of a romantic aspect to this one. Like I wouldn't say like almost adventure based, but like there's like a almost like it feels like supernatural. Supernatural.
Like it's a clear harem anime, but it's one that like has one very, very strong romantic connection in it, especially the further on that you watch.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean that's what a lot of the harem animes I watch do. Like sure the girl or it has a lot of the girls flirting with the guy and everything, but there's always like one clearly match made in heaven for both the protagonist and one of the girls, and it's extremely obvious to see even to the other girls. But I still kind of fall in love with that kind of atmosphere.
I do want to say, Jaden, that if you get into this one, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by it, because like as it goes on, the fan service kind of gets less and less. It's not nearly as like in your face about it. It kind of gets subdued as it goes on, and it's more character focused.
I totally relate. I can understand that. So this might be like a late 2021 for me. Like right now I'm watching Kill la Kill. And I'm actually enjoying Kill la Kill. Look at me, I'm a changed man, Hotshot. I'm a changed man.
Slowly but surely. It took fucking long enough.
All right.
We're slowly making him into a deviant.
One of us.
Let's go to Kyo's next pick. Let's go. Let's start the actual podcast.
Let's start the actual list.
Hi guys,
right,
welcome to Anime Podcasters.
List.
My name is JaianMusic.
Half an hour in, and we're finally starting the topic.
Exactly.
You're both on the dock. Jesus. Okay. For my number 10, I went ahead with one. I mainly put it here because it never got finished. And that's the main reason why it's at the bottom of my list. But it's on the list in general just because it's so unique that it's sad that it never got further than it did. And my actual pick is Dead Man Wonderland.
It's a Dead Man Wonderland.
It's not even the theme song, you fucker.
No, I know, but
I'm glad he's not singing the theme song because I don't want any copyright. So as long as it's not like copyright, you can sing all you want, Hotshot.
I mean, it's a parody of a song, but I'll leave that later.
Hey, if it's a parody, it's probably clean. It's probably safe for a short time.
All right, cool.
But this is like the apocalypse. Like this anime is just, oh my god, the man in red, bro.
I'll be honest. I was surprised to see Dead Man in your top 10, like at all. Like just a little bit. Like not even the fact that it wasn't finished. Just I always thought that I actually enjoyed it a little bit more than you, just because of like how into the bloody battles and everything I got, especially when I started talking like about Shiro to you a lot. I just thought that I enjoyed the show more than you.
Well, not kind of, maybe. I mean, like Austin's kind of a gore hound, so he likes a lot of like the slasher movies a little bit more than horror. So I think that might be part of it. I don't know.
Plus, I love blood powers. Blood powers are always good.
I don't understand why
that
you
is
haven't
always
watched
a cool
Blood Sea,
power.
then. I don't understand why you haven't watched finished Blood Sea yet. Then I just don't understand. You're literally like describing Blood Sea. He watched the first episode
He
and
started
stopped.
the first episode.
Yeah, I know. Ugh.
It's not available in our region for the most part. Like we have to
Bro,
acquire it.
I will send me
questionably.
booze. I will send you DVDs. Okay, if we have to make that trade, we will make that trade.
Hey, if you find it on DVD, give it.
Yeah, just give me your
Like,
address.
if we have it on DVD, Austin will have probably watched
So
it.
anyway, Dead Man. Enough about a show I haven't watched. Let's talk about a show I have watched.
We all have watched it, haven't we?
I watched
Jane refuses to finish it though
Yeah.
because it cliffhangs
exactly.
or because it got canceled.
Yes.
Wait, I thought you did see. I thought you
No,
saw. The
we
last
went
no,
over
he,
this.
No, he refused to watch it. because
I'm
it
not
didn't have
finishing an anime that doesn't get finished. I'm just gonna get pissed. Like I know I'm gonna get pissed by the end of it because there is no end of
Well,
it.
that last episode isn't even like the cliffhanger. There's like a flashback episode, and that's how they end it.
Well, that's stupid.
I know it's stupid.
I'm not
I
gonna
completely
do it.
agree with you.
Okay.
Well, the episode you left off on, like the second to last episode, is still like a bad way to end the show anyway.
Yeah. Well, it never ends well, so just end. But yeah, like it's an unfinished anime. That's the beef I have with it. Like this is not list worthy. This is not like to me, you know what I mean? Like I understand like number 10, fair enough, like lowest possible spot. But even then, like to me, since this anime never got finished, it was so good at the start. Like that first scene with the man in red showing up and then the kid getting accused and everything. Bro, I was so into that. I was like, yes, good. And then Keel's like, oh yeah, by the way, it never ends. I was like, why am I watching this? You know?
Well, I enjoyed it.
There you go.
I think so. For those who haven't seen it, just to give you guys the synopsis, Dead Man Wonderland is about a boy who survives an attack at his high school, and somehow the footage of the attack comes out that he was the one that killed everybody because he's the sole survivor. So he gets a life sentence, or I don't remember if it was a life sentence, but he gets sentenced as his punishment to be at this theme park, which is run entirely by criminals who are under lock and key, under shot collars and basic and like several other like deadly traps. And one of the things that they do is they have them perform in these obstacle courses that actually kill them. So like basically the thought behind it is they're all criminals. Nobody will care if they die, and if they're not actually criminals, then or like if they're holograms or something, then they won't care because it's still, it's a criminal.
100%.
But as the show goes on, it was supposed to have a reveal as to who the actual killer was, and the origin behind a character named Shiro, who is a character who seems to roam about the park without any form of scrutiny, or she just seems to be carefree, and she's not like constrained by the park, but she just doesn't leave because she doesn't want to, I guess.
I mean, I don't know.
I thought
that,
she was connected to the park.
Yeah, she is.
That's why she doesn't leave.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying like because we never got an idea as to why, like where she came from, why she exists, why she has a twin that got
right.
that never got explained.
Yeah, because the show got canceled.
I mean, yeah.
All right, let's go to. Can I go to my pick? I feel like we've pretty much established that. By the way, guys, the show got canceled. I don't know if you heard about that, but actually, it never ended. That's a fun fact.
Well, like it never got a second season. It didn't do well enough in Japan that it could get greenlit for a second season. But apparently in America, we loved this shit. Like, there's a lot more sales for the DVD in America than there are in Japan.
So that just means I need to find the DVD and we're set. Oh wait, no, we already have it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we already have it. There's just there's nothing else added to it. There's no unaired episodes or anything. Like, I wish that it got like the Adult Swim treatment, kind of like what Fooly Cooly is getting. I don't know if they ever made that. I don't know if they ever got anywhere with that, but I know they did it with Samurai Jack, and I liked what I saw with Samurai Jack season 5. I still haven't finished it.
All right, I think.
But yeah, Jane, we can move on.
That's all
to
we
yours.
have on a not finished show. So
Okay,
Jane,
let's go to a show that actually
sadly,
got
there's not a lot
finished.
to talk about.
Okay, this is This is a show that
Fuck you, Jaian.
This is a show that I love. To me, my top 10, the way I see it, is like these are all animes I finished and were just solid, in my opinion. And I loved watching this series. I watched it last year and finished it in maybe 2 weeks. It's critically acclaimed. It's by one of my favorite anime creator, Watanabe, and I am picking Samurai Champloo. It's set in this I don't want to say medieval, but like this older era of Japan, and it follows
feudal Japan.
Yeah. And it follows the three characters, Mugen, Shu, and Jin. And basically, it's the trio thing that Watanabe does so well. And you'll see this throughout my other top 10s. I love the way these characters are formed. I love how Mugen and Jin are basically like the soldiers and the stronger characters. And oh my god, why am I forgetting her name? I shouldn't be. And Fu is more of a character that's more reserved, and it gets gets trapped, and it's hard for them and it's hard for her to like get by without those two guys. And it follows this like episodic narrative that I really like, and the way it adds music, the way it plays with music is what I love about this series. Like they have an episode where it starts off with a rap recapping the entire series. They play a lot with the rewind and the tape delay effects, stuff like that. Just a bunch of really, really, really cool elements in this anime. It's hilarious. It's action packed. Like it's solid across the board. Like no one has ever told me they don't like this anime. Like guaranteed solid watch for sure. And spoiler alert, I love the fact that the characters don't die at the end. That's amazing. I love that. That's great. That's like, oh, okay, good. My heart can still function after this. So, you know what I mean? That's how I see it.
I guess if you've watched any or the other two shows that he's directed, then you probably would be happier with this.
But still, like this is like an amazing pick to me. I love this show. Like I mean, you finished the series, Kyo.
Oh yeah. I finished it a long time ago, and I was introduced to it through a trailer from I don't remember exactly what it was, but like I remember I actually found the DVD at a convention once, and I was like, you know what? I've been curious about this show. I may as well get it. And I think just this year I found that DVD case with the DVDs in it, because I did make that Samurai Shampoo parody that I did on my channel.
Has it hit 100 views yet?
Oh yeah, it's at 700, I think.
Good, because I remember you being like, I'm gonna plug this until it hits 100.
Well, it hit past 100.
Good. Any thoughts, Hotshot? Yeah.
It's at 720.
I mean, I haven't really seen much of Samurai Champloo. I think I've only seen like 2, maybe at most 3 episodes.
I think you've seen more than that, because you did see the episode with the pot field.
Oh, it's such a good episode.
It feels like I only watched like 2 or 3 though. Like you could be right. I could have watched more. It's just not really a show that stuck with me as much, just because like I like the style of samurais battling each other and in a road trip to discover things. It's just kind of one of those that's just like I like more supernatural abilities and powers and like more magical stuff, or like greatly exaggerated things in my animes. And Samurai Champloo is like grounded hard in realism a lot of the time. So it just didn't really stick with me as much as it does for others. Like it's still a good show. I like the sword fights and everything. And crap, I can't remember his name.
Mugen.
Not the glasses wearing samurai.
Mugen.
And I like Mugen, but
Mugen's the best.
Aside from that, it didn't really stick with me all that well.
In my opinion, there's a little piece of Mugen in all of us. You know what I mean? Just like that really bad Monday that you're having, that's Mugen.
Yeah, you're
I'm
probably
always
right.
having a bad day.
Like I can respect that's on the list. It's just not anywhere near mine.
It's like number 48.
It's not even a
Why
number.
is 48 the one that you want to go with every time?
Because that's my thing.
It's a big number.
It's just like, it's not quite to 50, but it's not quite my 49 either. I'm just going to put it like slightly outside of that.
It's about
that
76 for me.
All right, Hotshot. I'm good on this one. Let's go to your first pick. I was not expecting this one on your list. What the hell?
So obviously this one I haven't finished for a couple reasons. One, it's still going.
Oh, he's
It's
picking
reached
Boruto.
1,000 episodes.
He's picking Boruto. Oh, I'm so glad you finally. This is a
God damn it,
This is
Jaian,
a great
shut
way to
up.
introduce your.
Oh wait, hold on. No, you're right. I'm just gonna edit this. There we go. It's the actual pick now.
Ah!
So it's still going. It's due to release its 1,000th episode in the beginning of next month. I'm picking One Piece, and I have watched all of the 4Kids dubbed that we got for it. But unfortunately, after that, the dubbing for it stopped, and we did just get it subbed. And I just can't sit down and watch subbed anime. I don't know why. I just can't get into it that much.
Oh no. So the 4Kids one is not the one that's on Funimation.
Okay, so I watched 2 different dubs of it then. I've watched the Funimation and I've watched 4Kids.
You watched two.
But still,
I just find it funny that Austin thought that the show nenever got finished because 4Kids went out of business.
It still never got finished. That's not the reason, but it still never got finished. Dubbing for it just stopped.
10th place and never getting finished is a very common theme on this podcast, huh?
I guess so.
But at the same time, my show is still going. It's just the dub that not stopped. So after I watched the dubbing of it and everything, and after that just stopped, I started turning to the Pirate Warrior games that do like the major arcs that have to do with Luffy and the Straw Hats and everyone else, and involves a great deal of the characters. And it's mob battle hack and slash style, and I fucking love that style of game. So it's still in my top 10, yes, as a favorite anime, but also as a favorite anime franchise, because the Pirate Warrior games are some of my favorite anime games out there, and I fucking adore them. And I was honestly a little surprised to see that, like, out of all the original shonen shows I grew up with, One Piece was the only one to actually make it on my list.
No, but you got another one on there.
Not out of the ones I grew up with.
Wait, what?
We'll explain that later on. It's just, I love the grand scope adventure. I love how exaggerated everything is, like, especially when characters are surprised their jaw literally hits the ground, or how when they sail to one island, everything can be relatively normal, like in a marketplace. They sail to the next, they fight a giant 10-story tall bunny that has to be brought down by a giant rubber Gatling gun elephant. And it's just kind of, you never know what to expect with One Piece, with all the twists and turns, and especially even with characters that you've watched for like several years, especially after the time skip. You never know what to expect, and that's one of the big reasons I love it.
I just want to take a moment.
One Piece has always been really weird.
Yeah, but I just want to take a moment.
It gets weird, and I love weird.
I want to shout out, there's a podcast that's been covering One Piece for like ever, called the One Piece Podcast. I never listened to it, but I have a friend who listens to it and loves it, and says that, like, if you're a One Piece like nerd, like, this is the podcast you have to listen to. So the One Piece Podcast, check them out. They don't need the plug; they're much bigger than us. But if we could get them 1 or 2 more listeners, like, go ahead and enjoy yourselves. But One Piece, to me, I've watched like maybe the first 50 episodes, and then I kind of
the king of the podcasts.
Oh my gosh!
Sorry.
And Luffy is a great relatable character. The adventure is fantastic. The battles are great from what I've seen. But to me, it's really the fact that it's so long that I can't invest like 950 episodes. That's crazy.
Dude, I actually did the math for it. Like, I think, I can't remember exactly what it was, but Austin, like, you remember I calculated how long it would take to finish all 1,000 episodes in a year, right?
Yeah, if you only watched without stopping.
Yeah, it was basically like, if you watch the show, like, I think it's like, actually, you know what? Let me do it real quick because it doesn't take that long.
You know what we need? We need that guy who commented on the podcast to like break down exactly what episodes you need to watch of One Piece, and just give us an exact list, and like tell us like what regime we need to do, like how many episodes a day, and then just break it down and let us know like, this is how many episodes, this is how quickly you could watch One Piece, you know? So
yeah, I'm starting to think that guy was just Kyo in disguise.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that too.
Well, I actually, I just did the math on it. You would have to watch 2.7 episodes or 2.7 hours of One Piece each day in order to get through it.
No, thank you.
So that'd be about 8 episodes a day.
Yeah.
No.
I'm good.
Yeah, you would have to watch that for an entire year to catch up with where they are right now. Like, you would have to go.
They're still making new episodes.
That's if you
so
just
you're
do it
still gonna
subbed.
fall behind.
Yeah.
Just go all the way and just do like 8 full episodes.
God.
Or 10 full episodes.
For me personally, I actually, didn't I kind of like introduce you to One Piece a little bit, or were you already aware of it?
No. I knew about One Piece.
Okay. Well, when we started hanging out more.
No.
Okay.
I
remember this is my thing.
personally-
This is my thing. This is not your thing.
Granted, like when we started hanging out, the only anime that I actually started talking about was Naruto, but I knew of One Piece and One Piece's existence. The only way that I really had to watch it was like Saturday mornings on 4Kids after Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the weekly Shonen Jumps that I would sometimes get in a Fred Meyer bookstore section. That's really the only exposure to One Piece I had.
Which Austin still has those Shonen Jumps, by the way. I have them in one of our closets somewhere.
No, you don't. They're under my bed.
Oh, they're under your bed.
They're under my bed.
Well, yeah, but I actually did start with the manga for One Piece. Like, I honestly prefer the manga over the show because the show has this weird problem where I'm not sure if they've ever had to take a hiatus from like making the show. Like,
I can almost promise you.
I'm sure they have. I'm sure they have, but like, to my recollection, I never saw a point where it was like, okay, One Piece has stopped making episodes for a short time. But I do know that as far as the anime goes, I don't know if they've added filler from the manga. I think the manga writer has just been going nonstop. Like, they haven't. I don't think that they've had like the Dragon Ball problem where they have to let the author catch up or something.
I mean, it's very possible, to be honest.
I mean, it's insane to me like how much anime is produced from Japan like within a year. Like, they produce
They literally have seasons.
Content.
Like, they literally have like, oh, here's like the 40,000 animes are coming out this winter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that like it's all different studios like every year, of course, because like I think some are still working on like shonen anime like Boruto and Dragon Ball Super and
Hotshot's
whatnot.
10th pick. Yes.
Like, those ones seem to constantly be working like every year.
Yeah, 100%. Let's go to your pick, Keo, if you don't mind. Your number 9. This is
my number 9.
We're cracking it. Guys, this is gonna be a long one. I told you.
Continuing the theme of not finishing.
Wait, this one got canceled?
It's on hold. It's on hold.
Oh my
right
gosh, Keo.
But it's been on hold for a couple years, I think, at this point.
Yeah, it has. So like, not only has the anime stopped being produced, the author is on hiatus with it, and it's been on hiatus for almost 10 years now.
Okay, it got canceled, bro. Don't give me this hiatus.
No, I'm not.
It's like saying you got laid
this
off
is the word
isn't
from
the same as getting fired. It's like you still don't have a job, so you got fired.
I know. I'm totally aware of that. They may as well have just said it's canceled and called it like canceled, but it was doing surprisingly well. Anyway, the show that I had at my number 9, and I promise from this point on, nothing else is unfinished.
Well,
don't you start with me.
There's a strong possibility, but we'll get into that later.
I will tell you, and I can promise you.
All right, moving on.
Anyway.
Go ahead.
All right. My number 9 pick is D. Gray Man.
Have not seen this
Dude,
one.
Okay, you haven't seen this one. Okay, I'm surprised by that.
I
Actually.
have heard of it. I'm pretty sure we talked about this a few times, Keo, right?
Yeah, I actually talked about I talked about their villains in a podcast at one point, like one of the older villain podcast episodes.
The Claw?
No, that's Gun X Sword.
Damn it! Please go ahead.
I think both of those shows you would like. By the way, I think you would actually like D. Gray Man quite a bit.
I can only watch one show at a time, bro. I'm sorry, man.
Oh, I know. You're working on Kill la Kill. Kill la Kill's more important.
Oh, okay.
It's really big. Like Kill la Kill blew up a couple years ago, and I think that's why most people know what Studio Trigger is, and I think that's really good because Studio Trigger is a really good anime studio. Anyway, D. Gray Man is a supernatural series, so like if you like ghost hunting or demon hunting, then this is probably one for you. It has a little bit of that Naruto shonen flavor to it, but it's also very much like steeped in some kind of darker elements. Like there's a there's like the Fullmetal Alchemist scenario of like trying to bring your parents back through resurrection, but then of course the kid has to kill the abomination that's being possessed by his parents' soul. That's pretty dark already.
Yeah, this seems like just looking at the cover of it, looks very dark. To me, I feel like there's a lot of adventure to this. That's the feeling I'm getting. I feel like this is like, it's not an episodic thing. I feel like it's a full length, like the character, it's like arc based mostly, in my opinion. And then
I think almost all shonen shows are kind of arc based, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, I can't think of one it's not.
I can't either. I don't think there is. I don't think that they really don't do arcs, or I don't think there's any that don't do arcs. I think unless it's like a comedy series or a 4-panel.
Right.
But yeah, I think Austin has seen a few episodes with me. He liked it. He just hasn't gotten around to it like usual.
Yeah. It's just one of those like, oh yeah, that was a good time. I have other things that are a better time, but that was a good time. Like I really do like Alan, and hell, he's even in J-Stars, one of my Jonin or Shonen games on the PlayStation. He's just a support, but he's still in the story and everything, and he is very present. But it's still just kind of like, I do want to know more about him, but there's other characters from other shows I want to know more.
Right. Well, like the thing that I like about Alan most is that he's not a stereotypical shonen character like Naruto or Luffy or Goku. He's a little bit more.
What the hell he's doing?
Yeah. There's that, but like, I mean that he's a much more calm character. Like, he's totally aware of the world he's in and what kind of dark things are there, but he's such an upbeat person. Like, he's so relaxed and so sweet and so nice. Like, he's just really, he seems like somebody you would want to hang out with, like just to like lift your spirits a little bit. Like, he probably would like make you feel a little better if you were having a bad day, kind of.
You just pat your back and go, there.
Yeah, he's a good boy. He's a very good boy.
Is that all we have on D Gray Man already?
Well, that's the thing, like,
I mean, unless Jaian's got something
after,
to say.
Like I said, from what I read up on it, it seems like really cool. But like, that's the other thing. Like, canceled again, bro. Like, not hiatus again. Like that to me spells like, don't watch this. You know what I mean? That's how I see it. Honestly,
it's mostly just because the manga hasn't finished. Like, that's the main reason why the show hasn't been finished. But like, it's a little bit longer than the other shows. Like, it's like 50 plus episodes. Like I think it's like 60 or so right now. So there's a lot to watch, but like, there is the disappointment of like, if I get to the end, there's like, I gotta wait however long it's gonna take for them to finish it.
No, I see.
But at the same time, still getting there is just like, okay, so when they actually do continue it, at least I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's totally fair. Yeah.
Let's. I think we could wrap it up and go to my.
Yeah. I think we're good to move on.
My number 9 is also by the same person who did my number 10, Watanabe, and I am picking. This is another critically acclaimed one. It's a space western, beautiful anime that I seriously love. It's one of those other solid picks in my opinion. Cowboy Bebop. I don't know why I said it like that. Cowboy Bebop is so great. I mean, I don't even know where to begin with this one. Like, it's basically like,
I'm gonna go ahead and say that just because it's like later on for me, like it's higher on my list. Cowboy Bebop is also at number 3.
Yes. This is on Kyo's list as well. So Kyo, we have so much in common. But in all seriousness, like Cowboy Bebop to me spells like why anime is so revolutionary. Like the story, the crew that Watanabe creates, this like ragtag team of like bounty hunters going across space and getting into these crazy spaceship battles, or like fighting themselves in these like shootouts and grenades exploding. And I mean, I know that there's like strategy to it. There's like all these amazing elements, and I've loved Cowboy Bebop ever since I watched it, and that's why we're like covering the live action that's like probably postponed at this point. And I just
I think they're in the middle of production. Like, I think they're filming right now.
Yeah, but like all that to say that this anime is fantastic. Like the themes in there, especially with like the emphasis of music, how like literally bebop music is used in Cowboy Bebop. I just love the jazz influence it has in there. The characters are great. Like who doesn't love Spike and Jet? Like you know what I mean? Who doesn't love Ed, bro?
I mean, Ed is probably the character that has like the most like split down the middle fan base. I think.
Fair enough. And the movie too is great, which that you need to watch, and we'll do a podcast about this year, Kyo.
Yeah, I still need to watch the movie. I don't know why I can't find the movie anywhere.
Bro, I'm gonna send you links, bro. I got you. But in all seriousness, your thoughts on Cowboy Bebop being is it too low in your opinion? On my list?
I honestly like for you, I'm surprised that it's as low as it is, because like I was expecting it would be a little bit higher for you, just like because for me it's in my top 3. So, like, it's mainly because, like, that's a particular genre that I really like. Because when I first saw one of my later picks, I never knew that you could mix, like, Western, sci-fi, a little bit of fantasy all together. And I never thought, and, like, and that's part of why I like anime so much, is because it mixes things that you wouldn't normally put together. Like, Japan has this weird way of mixing and creating things that you would never think to put together, because somebody in America would probably tell you that's fucking stupid. But then you go to Japan and you see those actual combinations over there and you're like, "Oh my god, this is amazing. Why didn't we do this?"
Right. Like I just love this anime so much, and like,
oh yeah,
it's so good. I mean, Hotshot, you haven't even seen it, right? Like, or you've obviously
I've seen bits and pieces of it. I've seen a few episodes, but not like in chronological order. So
I mean, this is
very
episodic.
I think he jumped in. I think Austin jumped in like when I was in the middle of an episode or something and just sat down and watched the rest of it with me.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a fair deal, but it's not one that I've just been like, I need more of this in my life.
I think you do, though.
I know I do. I know I should watch more, and I do really enjoy what I've seen. It's just space western is really more of your kind of style as opposed to mine. It's one that I enjoy and one that I like getting into, but it's just one that I'm not as gung ho as you are.
No, I see what you mean. Like, just to me, like the story and like every episode is like a new boss battle to me. Like every episode is a new crazy person from outer space trying to blow up their spaceship. Every episode is like, how are we gonna get this Betamax tape figured out, or is it because of Hein that we're gonna like? Why is this mud in my spaceship? Like, there's all these ridiculous Pierrot le Fou. Like, it's so good. It's so Julia, bro. Like, so many great things in that. The characters are fantastic. Like, I have nothing bad to say about this anime, and I have extremely high praise for it. And it's only my number 9, just to give you guys an idea here.
And it's my number 3, like for quite a few reasons.
And it's my number. It's somewhere in there, I'm sure.
48.
God damn it, Giant! Stop with 48.
47.
Yes. All right, Hotshot.
Just to spite me with you two.
Yeah, pretty much. All right.
Are you feeling lucky?
So my number. Yeah, I'm feeling very lucky because I get to talk now about a show that I know.
Yeah.
So number 9 for me is a very, very simple slice of life anime. One that I might have talked about before, but not like dangerously so.
I don't
Lucky
think you have
Star.
talked about it that much.
I brought it up like here and there, but not like, oh, it's one of the best ever. It's one that I'm like, I'll always be happy to throw on and I'll always be happy to watch. But it's not really one that a lot of people really would in my eyes. So to give you guys a little incentive here, or a little viewing on it, Lucky Star is incredibly slice of life. It's these 4 girls going through day-to-day life through their last 2 years of high school, and it's just things always get exaggerated, or their personalities always get in the way of each other, and it's always just kind of like things aren't always like in the way, but it's just their personalities are clashing, and it's just them growing as people. It doesn't really sound that enticing to watch, but all the characters that you meet in it are so adorable and so cute. that you can't help but start to enjoy your time around them. Like one of the biggest ones is Kanata. She's a weeb stereotype, so she's like surrounded in otaku stuff, surrounded in posters. She's always staying up late gaming. She's always watching shows, collecting figurines, that kind of thing, and always getting in trouble for not studying. Kagami is the I have my nose in my book all the time, and I'm kind of a tsundere to everybody around me. Her sister, crap. Her sister Tsukasa is just the cling to your older sister, but still trying to find your way in life kind of archetype. And then, damn it, why am I brain farting here? Miyuki, thank you. And then Miyuki is just and Kanata comments on this repeatedly, is just moe as fuck. Like, she is the shy one, she is the one with glasses, she's the klutzy one, but it's all done in such a cutesy way that I can't help but enjoy it.
Well, like, here's another thing. Like, whereas in most anime, that would be one character, all those characteristics are packed into one person. Like, those would normally be several characters. There'd be a glasses character, a clumsy character, and then a shy one. Like, those would all be yeah. Well, no, she's not a tsundere.
No, I know. I thought we were talking about like all the tropes that are packaged into the characters.
Oh, no. I was saying Miyuki is a character who has like several tropes packed into one. Like, whereas like most anime would probably make that into one character or like into several characters.
Which is why she's had the idea of fuck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, there's also the fact that she's like more developed than most like characters who are just the shy one. Yeah. Like, I think she's a little more developed than Hinata, personally.
Like, character-wise or body-wise?
Just shut up. Character-wise.
Okay. I'm just saying, just like, because developed joke is very much a thing that they do in Lucky Star because of like how
I guess that's fair.
Mature Miyuki looks as opposed to her classmates. So that's really the only reason I brought it up.
I thought you were just being creepy.
No, I was just like, when I hear developed, especially in anime where the word developed comes up a lot, that's what I was perfectly fair. That's why I'm like,
I've heard that phrase way too many times and I'm sick of it.
Okay, you know what? That's fair.
I'm sorry.
So Jaden, if you're in the mood for like more of a cutesy, like just easygoing, throw on for background noise kind of show, I honestly would really recommend this one because it is a really cute, funny one to get into.
That's the thing. Like this one, the issue I have with this one is that I feel like depth is not necessarily like too there. Like I feel like it's pretty like standardized in the sense that like cute girls, slice of life, maybe a little bit of comedy in there, and I feel like it kind of stays on that level. I'm from what I'm hearing at least, I don't see like that intellectual stimulation.
I mean, I know.
You know what I mean?
I knew that going in that like this really wouldn't grab you like at all. But I was just saying like if you had like any kind of curiosity to it at all, then I'd recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not really expecting you to watch this because I know you like more shows that are in depth and have a lot to do with the plot, where there's actual story and depth to the characters, where everything has meaning. Lucky Star really doesn't have any of that. So
yeah. I would argue that there's a lot more depth with these characters than there are in like most other shows that are quote unquote moe, because like these characters aren't just one personality trait. Like Konata isn't necessarily, I wouldn't say Konata is really a stereotype. I think she was like probably one of the earlier characters that was like, she's not a shut-in completely. Like she has times where she'll want to go out and just hang out with friends, or like she doesn't just stay at home and play video games or whatever. Like she does several things. Like she even goes out and gets a job so she can pay for being an otaku
at a cosplay cafe.
Yeah.
So she has an otaku job to be further otaku.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
She does what she loves and she buys what she loves.
Because the only scene that we see her actually working, her and her co-workers are dressed up as Haruhi Suzumiya characters. And she's dressed up as Haruhi which is hilarious because her voice actress is Haruhi.
I think in both dubs actually too.
Both dubs. There's 2 dubs?
Well, in Japanese and in English.
Oh, okay. That's why I'm like, wait, what?
What do you mean there's 2 dubs? There's hundreds of dubs for like every anime, man.
When I hear dub, I always just imagine English dub. And then when I hear sub, I think of Japanese dialogue.
You know what? That's completely fair. I get that point, but still.
But really, that's all I had on Lucky Star. It's just a really cute and really funny show that I have finished about 4 times. But I would still finish it 4 more times.
I mean, it doesn't have to have a story. It's just like these characters are enjoyable and likable. Like that's all you really need.
Yeah, that's all I need at least. I'm a very simple man. If I enjoy my characters, I don't need a story.
Yeah.
All right, so Kyo, I think we're back onto you.
I just want to add one more thing. I started getting into
it.
the music of this series, and I really like it. The character themes are really cool, and I
I noticed that.
covering.
I noticed that
bit.
you recently dropped a cover for one of the songs.
Yeah. So and there's more to come. So just saying, or by the time you listen to this, maybe I dropped another one already. But like the music's cool. I want to give credit to the. I don't know who made the music in this series, but I like the music in this series a lot.
Oh yeah, music's really good. It's really really cute.
Yes.
So who's next?
You.
Kyo.
Me already? Damn.
Yep, on one that we
okay.
share.
Oh, okay. Wait, on one that we share?
Yeah.
Oh, crap. We have more overlay than I thought we did.
Yeah. I said, we have some. We don't have a lot, but we definitely have some.
All right, we have like 2 more from me, I think.
All right, let's
that
go.
are overlaid. Okay, so my pick for number 8 is Dragon Maid.
Yay!
I've not seen this one. I'm.
You won't.
I won't
You
watch.
Giant
you legitimately
probably
will
not
not watch this.
You know what? I'm watching this series. I'm watching this after Kill la Kill. I don't even care. I'm watching this. I don't care how many episodes. I'm watching this now.
All right,
It's only
cool.
12, but they do have another season coming.
Perfect.
out.
I'm gonna watch it.
Okay.
All right, Kyo, you want to dive in?
Yeah, sure. Basically, it's got a very simple premise. It's just about this dragon who comes to the human world, is found by a drunk office lady who takes a sword out of her and brings her home, and then that dragon wants to serve her because she saved her, and the one thing that the dragon wanted to be, if she could be anything else, was a maid. And that is the entire plot premise, and it runs with some really cute, some really identifiable characters. They're all really nice, just people to be around. Like, it's kind of got the same thing with Lucky Star. Like, if these characters are enjoyable, it doesn't matter what they're doing. They could do literally anything, and you have an enjoyable episode.
There are hints of a story that go through like episode to episode, but it really doesn't
Very
carry a
little,
whole lot of
very
weight
little.
until the final episodes of it. Whereas you put Dragon Maid on number 8, this is actually number 5 for me, just because of how much I actually do enjoy Toru and all the other dragons that come in. Because after Toru comes in, we run into other dragons who are either A, trying to just find Toru, or B, they say they're worried about Toru, but really they just want to live the human life too. So Toru comes around, then Kana comes around looking for Toru, and ends up just being essentially the adoptive daughter of the human who took Toru in. Then we have Fafnir come in from an invitation from Toru, who just decides to live among the humans to just basically get over his hatred of them. Then we have another dragon, Lukua, come in. Lukua just does what she wants, so really she didn't have an incentive to come to the human world, but she was summoned by a priestess' son who was trying to summon a demon, so she thought it'd be safer if she came through the portal instead, and that's a running joke between all of them. And then finally we have the dragon Elma come in, who wants nothing more than to bring Toru home, unless you have a tasty snack to offer her. So all these characters have, like, I know I just listed the dragons and like nowhere, like none of the humans, even though humans do play a very prominent part to it. They're all so adorable, except Fafnir, that just like you can't help but kind of feel a little bad until he gets like later on down the line. It's just filled with cute characters and cutesy moments, and it's honestly one that's just like really heartfelt and heartwarming more than anything else. There are some badass moments that happen just because, these are dragons. They have powers. They can do insane shit. But it plays a really down part to just how cute these characters are, and that's why I love it so much.
I'm not gonna watch this after all.
Yeah, that's not.
All right. But it's cool. It sounds like a hotshot show, but this is like I haven't had enough to drink.
It's really not. It's really not that dirty. It's actually.
And I'm not saying that in a dirty
clean.
sense. I'm saying that in
the
cutesy,
hotshot show. I know. Hotshot show I know can usually mean dirty, and usually that is what it means, but it also just means like extremely slice of life and easy going.
Yeah.
Jaden doesn't like to go easy, so
bro, I like when people write people's names in books and they die, bro.
Breathe.
Bro, you know what I'm saying? I like seeing like gods of death dropping apples and stuff. I don't like dragons.
Oh, that sounds so much more entertaining than somebody going to the grocery store.
That's about what Jaden likes. He likes the grocery store and nothing else in life.
But in all seriousness, like this anime, like it just doesn't stick to me. It just doesn't. Nothing is like driving me to be like, oh, that's cool to check out.
Yeah.
The previous ones you talked about, yeah. What was the other one that you said earlier that like was really interesting?
Lucky Star.
Lucky Star, but there was another one other than that. Rosario Vampire. That was cool.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So like. I feel like
you might get into.
Yeah, I feel like this anime isn't in the scope of the slice of life that I enjoy. This one's like, what? That's the reaction I get to it. But like once again,
I get it.
If you enjoy it, that's awesome for you, bro.
All right. Is that really that about it we had on Dragon Maid?
That's all I have.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Jane,
Jaian, you contributed very little
8.
to that conversation.
Yeah. I mean, these aren't like necessarily the killer spots for me, but this next one we're gonna have a good conversation about. This is like, I know this one's liked across the board on the podcast. This one is number 8 for me. I believe it's also on Hotshot's list, right? You got this one.
It's on mine. It's number 7 actually instead of number 8. But yeah, go for it.
My Hero Academia is my number 8 pick. This one is like basically the Marvel of anime. This one has super relatable characters, amazing battles. Deku is so rootable. All Might is just pure awesomeness. I hate Bakugo with a passion. I mean,
thank you.
You can't not like this anime, though. I mean, like, the first few episodes where Deku doesn't have his power still, and you see how badly he wants it, I was like, yo, Rock Lee's back, bro. Rock Lee's back. And his name's Deku. And I just really enjoy this anime so much across the board. Like, whether it be the fights, the relationships between the characters, the plot, the villains have so much depth. The animation is gorgeous. The music is just, it's superhero music. It's like superhero music on steroids plus ultra, bro. Like,
well, because I mean, it's because it's all superhero. It's very heavily comic. Even the way that like everything's delivered is very like comic panels jumping off the page. Like there's no like pow or kapow like pop-up words happening with every fight or anything. But the aesthetic is very comic. It feels like you're looking right in a vintage comic book. Which is why I love it so much. It is in my number 7 spot. But that's the thing. It's still on my list. It's still one of the greatest,
ever. One
of the best animes I've seen. I like you. I love All Might. I love Deku.
Yeah. The cool thing about it is that it's recent. Also, like it feels like an anime that came out a few like years ago. It feels like it fits in with the Shonen Jump style. Like it feels like it should have came out a few years ago. It feels like it belongs there, like along. I mean,
it's been out for a bit though. It's been out in 2014. We're going into 2020. We're in 2021 basically. 7 years.
Yeah, but I mean, it feels like it belongs like back in the 90s with like
I feel like
the 90s and 80s with like Dragon
acclaimed,
Ball and
critically acclaimed, as loved. You know what I mean? Like it's as big as those ones. Like this one could have been part of the big 3.
I'm glad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm glad we waited for it though, because of like how aesthetically pleasing it is, especially to really big comic nerds. That again, you're watching it pop right off the comic, and you get all the comic tropes and everything else that this is going on. Like All Might is very obviously Superman. Endeavor is kind of the attitude that a more angry, jealous Batman would have. Just because he's ranked like the number 2 hero.
Not anymore.
All Might as a rival more than anything else. Like not so much like Batman to Superman. Not anymore, but it was for a time. then like you have all these kids going to a school to learn their powers, and even learning or watching all that is amazing. Like I love
And the fact that like all the characters are like, or that there's like a snowflake effect where like there's no two similar powers, or like there are, I mean, on occasion there are like families that have very similar powers, but like most characters aren't really copycats of each other. Like each one is like just as unique as the other. Like there are some that are just like, I haven't seen this power before, or there's one that's just like not even comic books have done before.
like well, I'm trying to think of one of the really interesting powers.
Like I will agree with both of you. I hate Bakugo. I think Bakugo is one of the worst written characters in the world.
Thank you.
But his power is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like
And
the idea that his own sweat is like nitro.
Where,
The fact that his sweat is nitroglycerin
Yeah.
is such a fucking cool
that's
idea.
actually another thing I love about Hero is their powers are literally an extension of themselves, like something that ultimately comes from them.
Like an extension of their character.
Right, like where you
Yeah.
have let's take Spider-Man. He gets his
Mhm.
powers from a radioactive spider bite, and it just like mutates his DNA to have it. Or if you take Superman, he gets his powers from basically photosynthesis, taking in the energy of the sun, and that's it. He just has powers now. But with the MHA characters, Bakugo comes from his sweat, something that he uniquely produces. Mina's comes from slime that she can produce. Momo comes from her own intelligence on like molecular levels of like the items that she's trying to create. It uniquely comes from these characters instead of just like something that comes across to them. They're kind of like X-Men in a way, because X-Men are born with their powers, just don't always know about it yet or know how to control them. And
Right.
that's honestly like the closest variable or closest parallel that I can come up with.
You can see, I mean, to me, like, what really made me realize that was the Might Guy versus All Might Death battle. I was like, these characters are too similar, and I've never noticed it before. And like I said, Rock Lee and Deku, not just in anime, though, you know what I mean? So I just really enjoyed the fact that we have kind of like a resetting of the superhero genre in anime, and this is one of the best superhero animes ever, like bar none.
I think it's one of the, or like there's not very many that are like this
Mhm.
though. There's like not that many anime that borrow from like Marvel and DC, like from such an American source. Like we never think of it, but like manga and comics are not that different. The main difference between the two is that like manga has more of a broad spectrum. Like almost every single anime out there started as a manga, but not every animated series in America or comic book has been adapted that same way. It's a little weird that like in a country completely across from us, that almost everything set to paper has been made into an animated series.
Definitely, but what I love that like what you I'm thinking now is that like My Hero Academia is that anime that's so powerful that to me it brought me to notice that manga and comic books aren't that different. You know, that's a powerful thing for an anime to do, to make a viewer realize this kind of stuff. And the way it's written, the way it's put together is so incredible, because you just see like the growth of all these characters between the internships and the entrance exams and the League of Villains and all the struggles they go through. Like you root for them and you want to see them succeed. And I mean, to me, what this anime does really well as well is that the big epic moments with the music, like it's very Naruto-esque in that way. You know what I mean? When Deku's like really in a pinch and he's fighting his heart out, man, bro. It's so good. Like the music, just everything put together. You feel like you're in there. You're like, come on, Deku. Like I'm rooting for a cartoon character.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, that's what good shows will do to you. Of course, you're going to shout at your screen like, we got to do this. Come on, go.
Get back here, Hotshot. Now we can finally talk about it.
Yeah.
Hell.
It brings it kind of, like I said, I think it feels like lost media almost. It feels like it came out in the 90s, but it's like better. It feels like something that is truly shonen. It feels like a fully realized
100%.
like shonen series. Have
think we have.
covered just
I'm
about
happy with
everything
that.
on Hero, or do we have some
I
more
think
thoughts
everything
on
that we can talk about, yeah. All right. So next up, this is actually so next up is my number 8 spot. And it's one that I still haven't finished, but it's one that I restarted and watched all but a quarter of it in like one night. Assassination Classroom. And this is one that Kyo, you actually showed to me first.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, I knew about Kokoro Sensei because of J-Stars, but I never actually watched any of his show or knew exactly where he was coming from. So when you showed me the actual show, I immediately fell in love with it because Assassination Classroom is super exaggerated, which, like I said, is something I adore. There's not really a supernatural, but like a higher power
kind of
entity.
It leans on sci-fi. It
Yeah.
leans on sci-fi, but it is a little bit fantasy just because of how weird it gets.
Like sci-fi fantasy, highly exaggerated, extremely hilarious, and especially when their teacher Kokoro Sensei is like so actually heartwarming and actually means well to the kids that he's teaching, instead of just like being a total dick, like, you're trying to kill me, so I'm not gonna like you more. No, he goes into this with, I'm gonna leave you, by the time you kill me, I'm gonna have left you with a life better than you had, and you're gonna believe in yourself more than you ever have. And it's just kind of like, I almost don't want to kill you now, but if I don't, you're gonna blow up the moon? All right, I guess you
he
still
blew up
gotta
the
die.
moon to show. No. He blew up the moon to show like how powerful he was. He says he's gonna destroy Earth.
Yeah, like half a chunk of the moon, and it's Koro Sensei. I'm sorry, I know
Was I saying
character names,
Kokoro?
but I can't hear Kokoro Sensei.
Oh, my bad. I know it's Koro.
The whole time,
Sensei.
I was like,
didn't even
no,
realize
that's
I was
not
saying
it. That's
Kokoro.
not it. That's not it. No, all good.
But it's just, it's one that I
no
really
This
adore.
anime
It's
is amazing.
hilarious, especially with the fact that like there are different assassination techniques or different characters that come in like trying to teach them different assassination techniques. The adults always treat it as, okay, this guy has to die. They never get the relationship between Koro Sensei and the students, except for Yelovich and the other CIA agent who's there with them. I can't remember his name.
I mean, I haven't seen this anime in forever. But I finished it.
Yeah.
The characters are hilarious too. Like the whole classroom. Have you seen the episode where they introduced like that the new
AI?
student where it's like a it's
I
almost like a
fucking
computer,
adore
basically?
her. She's so cute.
The AI?
I love her.
It's hilarious. Like the whole time, it's like, okay, next lesson, just like shooting all these bullets at him.
Because
Oh my
when
God.
she was first introduced, she was introduced just as a weapon, or she was hacked into to just be the weapon instead of just a student. Before Koro Sensei actually took the time to treat her as a student and reprogrammed her to be said student. And it was just, ever since then, it's been highly adorable because when she was, I believe, just whisked away, she was still on everybody's phone because Koro Sensei like updated her to a cloud or something so that only the students could talk to her. And it's like, hell, even just like as far as Koro Sensei goes to like keep his students happy, even a fucking AI is so unbelievably cool and so unbelievably adorable to me. I love it so much. Actually, that brings up. Sorry to cut you off. One of my favorite exchanges is the drill sergeant who comes in and wants to, or treats the kids like he's basically the dad of the group, before it's revealed that like he's a heavy abuser and like whips his like who he's in charge of and basically abuses them into shape, until he gets put in his fucking place not once but twice by the same student. And I fucking adore it because it's like, yeah, fucking eat shit.
I just wanted to add that like I mean, I can't talk about the ending a little bit or not. Okay.
No.
It's just the ending got to me. Is all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. That's the thing, though, Hotshot. Like, you should put animes that you finished on your list, because this is like, I really want to talk about this, but like, ugh.
I do understand that, and I do understand Assassination Classroom has been out for a few years at this point and done for a few years. Hell, I even watched the Koro Sensei Quest spin-off series so I know some of the twists. I don't know the actual ending, but I know some of the twists.
I mean, you don't have to. I mean, you don't have to finish that in order to see the spin-off show. It's like Rock Lee and his Ninja Pals. It doesn't have a connection to the original show.
Some of the connections are actually there in the real show, though. Is the thing.
That's fair, but it's not as important as the other one. Like, it's not nearly as story based.
You'd be surprised.
Not really, though. I've seen it.
Okay. But really, yeah, that's about all I had on Assassination Classroom, but it definitely deserves to still be on at least one of our lists, so it's on mine.
You got to finish it this year, and we have to do a podcast about it. Like, actually, because this is like, but all I want to say is that like this anime has been out for a bit. Like, I feel like it came out, like I watched it like in 2016 or 2017, right when it was ending, and just all the attempts to murder Koro Sensei are like what make this show so amazing. Whatever he's like trying, he could be eating. You never know. Someone might be trying to stab him. He might be like flying across the planet to go. He would go to a different country on his lunch breaks. That's how fast he was. Like so many ridiculous but hilarious things, and like just the way they teach these students to become assassins, and like the stupidity of this anime. I just love it. It's super comedic in that sense, and I really enjoy it.
So Kyo, Ron, you're number 7.
And my number 7 is exactly the same as Jaian's number 7.
Why are you stealing my pick like that? I want to go first.
I didn't steal nobody's pick.
And we just talked about my number 7, so this will be short.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, guys, take it away.
Yeah. So our pick for number 7 is, well, I'm surprised nobody saw this coming, Naruto.
What? I never heard of this show. What is it about? It's the guy with the dual disc, right?
This is a show about ninjas, apparently.
This is Ninja Pirates.
What? What are you talking about?
One Piece and Naruto are the same show. It's just ninjas and pirates.
Let's not lose the lead, though. Let's not lose the lead. Let's get into Naruto, though, because I love this show so much. This is like an introduction to anime in a sense that like brought me back in. You know what I'm saying? Like Rock Lee versus Gaara, the character Naruto himself. Like the reason why we started this podcast, Kyo. Like this is all.
Yeah, it's our first episode was Naruto, and it was like that's where we all found common ground, and like we started working on Naruto Bridge back in the day together. Like Naruto in a way is part of the reason why this podcast exists, and that's why it's on our list for one.
Yeah, exactly.
And on top of that, there's just the fact that we love Naruto so much.
Yeah. Like to me, Naruto is that show that literally popularized anime alongside Dragon Ball. Like everyone knows about Naruto. Like Area 51.
I would say that Naruto is probably the second generation for like Dragon Ball. Like it's kind of like the next step for Dragon. It was like the next step for the next generation of like anime lovers.
And it's still going on with Boruto and everything. Like, what are some like?
Oh yeah.
What do you love the most about this?
And
series?
so is Dragon Ball's. Dragon Ball's still going.
I mean, Super Dragon Ball Heroes is still going. The manga is still going.
Yeah.
But like favorite moments from Naruto. Like, why is it like number 7 for you?
Well, like Austin, do you want to throw any of your thoughts in here real quick?
I mean, Naruto is one of, if not the anime that I grew up with, so I have a really, really special place in my heart for it. Unfortunately, I just came across more in my life later on down the road that just ever so slightly bumped it out. So honestly, Naruto for me might be in the 11 or 12 spot. It just like, it's still there. It just ever so slightly got bumped out. It still holds that special place for me. It's one of the connections that not just introduced Jaden to us and like brought him into like our circle of friends, but it's one that ultimately connected us once you started actually watching Naruto more and I started diving more into Sonic and we started getting more along. So it means more to us than just being a show.
It's a lifestyle.
So honestly, if we were rating it on like that, it would be a lot higher, I feel like, for everybody. But just on a show, I can see where it is.
Yeah, like I just like loved the battles in Naruto. I want to talk about the battles a little bit. Like who can forget Naruto versus Pain?
Oh yeah.
Naruto versus insert whatever character. It's a good fight. It's a great fight.
Lee versus Gaara.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I would say like all the Naruto battles are the best. Like I would say like probably one of the weakest battles for Naruto is probably the Naruto versus versus the Akatsuki when like in Shippuden when that first starts, because he doesn't really fight anybody.
Right. Wait. There was who was it? It was Sakura and
Well, that
Deidara
it
and
was
Sasori,
Deidara
yeah.
and Sasori.
Yeah, Deidara and Sasori.
Yeah, because that went more
Right,
towards
right.
like Sakura and Chio and Kakashi.
I just like, in my opinion, just not to get too lost down the battle rabbit hole. Naruto has this thing where, once again, his growth and how he is now Hokage, how he was like pushed aside and ridiculed and made fun of, and like the burden of the Nine Tails and everything, and seeing him grow that, the Sasuke retrieval arc, seeing him throughout Shippuden, like everything about Naruto was just a beautiful, beautiful story. There's just so many amazing moments that I'll never forget. Like his fight versus Sasuke, I love it. Naruto, Sasuke, come on, man! Like, come on, you know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much the same thing, and like I think that's part of like where Akira influenced like just about everything, like especially for shonen. As did Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball definitely like is a big part of why Naruto itself exists, because like Austin, you remember like the original like one-shot manga that Kishimoto made originally, right?
Like the essentially the prequel to Naruto.
Yeah, it was it was the original pilot
essentially.
manga. Yeah. Well, like beforehand, it was like Naruto could transform into like just about anything. It was super like Journey to the West, like almost as much as Dragon Ball. Like it was extra fantasy, like extra Japanese fantasy.
I especially liked the fact that he always turned into like a mini Ninetales, like the plushie Ninetales.
Like he could be a Ninetales bat or a bird, or he could be like just a regular little Ninetales fish or something like that. I don't know. Like he could transform a lot. But like I like the way that Naruto ended up being, because if it was the way that it had been originally, I don't think it would be as popular, because it has more of that Dragon Ball taste to it.
How do you mean exactly?
I mean that like the way that it came out, like the way that we know Naruto.
The action is what you're saying?
Okay.
Like it has the like the energy beams.
No, it definitely is the
screaming,
action oriented,
fighting.
and I love the action.
Like, it has
I
more
think
of
that's
that.
the biggest draw for it.
Yeah, it's
in
more
my opinion,
action
is
oriented.
the battles. Like the reason why I love this show is because I walked in on Rock Lee doing whatever he does with those gates and punching however he punches that sand guy, and I was like, yes, I want to watch this every Friday night. And then for like 3 years straight, every Friday night, Naruto 8:30, Naruto 8:30, YTV. Yo, if you know what I'm talking about, you had a good life. And in all seriousness, like this anime just is beyond powerful, beyond amazing. Everything it has, and I mean, I guess there's a lot of nostalgia attached to this. Seeing everything that this anime goes through and all the characters, it has one of the largest like, character base I could think of. You know, it's almost like The Simpsons. It's like The Simpsons of anime in that sense. There's so many Naruto characters, and there's still more in Boruto. To me, those characters, they're all just. They all have that particular backstory about themselves. I know Naruto's criticized for the flashbacks, but I understand with how rich the story is, you're gonna need some flashbacks, because why is this guy worth talking about? Boom, flashback. You know what I mean? So,
admittedly, the flashbacks are very frequent, but I think they're kind of important in terms of like developing your character, and like I think that they could do. I think that some of the episodes that they do later in Shippuden, like where they show the Naruto characters as kids and like how they were and like how they kind of like grew into who they are like in the later show. But like I'll admit, like the flashbacks need to calm the fuck down.
Really good. It's another solid pick in my opinion. So let's go, Hotshot. We're going to your number 6, right? Because we did number 7 for Kyo and I, right? Is that correct?
So in terms of that, when it would come around, we would just skip my number 7, since my number 7 was MHA, and then we would just continue down the line as normal. So we'd actually go to Kyo's number 6.
This one's a cool one.
Okay, which happens to be Austin's number 6.
Yeah. So. So that's fine.
This one's going for a while.
Hey, we're almost halfway through.
Yeah, or actually, I think we would be halfway through, because we took out like 2 or 3 picks from each other.
All right, what is our number 6, Kyo?
Our number 6 is Panty and Stocking.
Panty, stocking, panty, stocking. So if you guys don't know, Panty and Stocking is the story of two fallen angels living in D-City who are trying to get their way back into heaven by eliminating the demon problem. Each killed demon gives them demon coin or heaven coins that they can use to buy their way back into heaven through redemption. And they are the... How does one put this?
They are the most non-angel angels in the world.
There you go.
Like, it's a wonder how they were ever angels at one point.
One angel, Panty, is trying to bone literally everyone that lives and breathes in D-City, just trying to climb up onto them or have them climb up onto her. And Stocking is kind of a glutton when it comes to sweets and things like that. I didn't have another translation for Stocking, but
she is very much just gluttony, and the other one is just lust.
And they use their panties and stockings to fight. Panty uses her panties to turn into a gun, and Stocking uses her stockings to turn into swords. It's kind of amazing.
This anime makes no sense to me. This anime is so it's so wacky. It's so wacky, man.
It's very,
that's like what I take away from it.
It's very, very American based. Like that's what Japan got the idea from, where
it actually doesn't have a manga. It's completely original.
Yeah. And Kyo, help me out here. It's American influenced, right? Or
yeah.
Okay, that's what I was trying to say, not based. I don't know what I was thinking there.
It actually, so like the show actually exists because of the cartoon Drawn Together. Some guys from Studio Trigger were in America in a hotel room, and they were getting wasted completely. And the show Drawn Together happened to be on screen, and they're like, hey, we should do something like that. And that's literally how it came about. Like, I don't know how they got the rest of their idea. All we know is that it came from a hotel room in America, and they were watching Comedy Central.
Which I like Drawn Together fine, but I love Penny and Stocking.
Oh, Penny and Stocking is way better by far.
Especially, so with me, I love it when a show goes balls to the walls insane. Like, it doesn't, shy away from what exactly is going on. Like, the first episode, they're fighting a giant shit monster from the sewer, and they actually just call it a shit monster. Instead of like, it's a dookie creature. No, it's a shit monster. This isn't gonna be good.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's to the point. It's insane with all its antics and everything it does. Especially towards the end with Panty essentially being kept down on Earth because of her lust. And gets re-virginized. It's a very, very weird.
I really feel like I need like a Hotshot show, like sound alert. Like, the following is a Hotshot show. Please be warned. You know, like at this point, man. But like at the same time, I feel like this one is like what your regular Hotshot show is like, but to the nth degree because of the comedy. Like, it's
well, like the thing is that like hilarious. this is more based in comedy. It's more so based in like just having fun. It's not so much about like the lewdness of it. Like it's just kind of
despite the fact that Panty jumps in bed whenever she's in frame.
Yeah, I mean, not exactly, but
she pretty much does. I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, like one of the episodes, I'll admit, one of the episodes opens up with her like losing her panties, and she has to get it back because it's also her gun.
Yeah, that's true.
That's totally fair.
And especially when we run into the Demon Sisters, who they also use their stockings and their panties to fight, where Scanty uses her panties to turn into like twin magnums or twin 6-shooters. Nisox uses her knee socks to turn into sights. So it's like a slight deviation from the actual angel weapons, but it's still very clearly meaning the same thing.
Well, Scanty is Panty's opposite, and she also has a pair of pistols.
Right. But Nisox
is the opposite to Stocking,
but has sights in place of swords.
Which they're both bladed weapons, and they couldn't come up with like.
What would you rather? Nisox uses Nisox in order to become a shield, No, that's not going to cut it.
No, I was just saying that like there wasn't like really a way to make Scanty's weapons into something that's like the opposite of a pistol, other than like maybe a Gatling gun. But how much fun could you possibly have with that? You want to have like a or like a shooter fight out, basically.
Or a shotgun.
Eh.
Wait, no, we get that
there's-
later on down the line too.
Do we?
Yeah, when
I
she
don't
uses briefs,
Oh,
it
what's
turns
that?
into a shotgun.
You know what? I'm just gonna have
There's
to go
a-
back and watch the show again. 'cause
That
I
was
like
in
it.
the naked. That was.
I don't
in the
know
naked
why,
race.
but when you said brief, for some reason I
Oh,
just
that's
thought of like Bulma and like the Brief family from Dragon Ball. Like that's how like.
That's
Well,
fair.
there is a character named Brief,
But
so
listen, talk about the show. What I'm like, I just reiterating the fact that you can really see how based in comedy it is. You know, like how cartoony, and I mean, obviously the jokes
Yeah.
are probably are very like, I don't know if this is the right word for it, but like there's like vulgarity in those jokes. You know, they don't care.
yeah.
Like I feel like it's a big South Parky.
Yeah,
in
I
that
mean,
way,
they
you know
care-
what I mean?
They care.
Like, there's a bit of-
They
They
just
did,
care.
yeah.
To
Exactly,
make you
but they don't.
laugh.
They care in a
Like,
different way.
Yeah. They care in a way that I enjoy. You don't have to enjoy it,
Oh,
but
man.
I enjoy it.
It's a comedic pick, and I understand why this one is higher than, let's say, I don't know. I understand why this one is higher than like Lucky Star, or I don't understand why this one's higher than what I was gonna say, My Hero. Yeah,
like
but
this is one that this is another show that Austin and I bonded over. Like I introduced this to Austin, and it's been like one of his favorites ever since like we went through the whole thing. I bought the DVD, and when I came over to Austin's place, we had the Play Store ourselves, and we just blazed through the whole show. And Austin was like, "I absolutely love this."
All right, is that all we had on Panty and Stocking Kill?
Yeah, I think so. Like just
Okay.
It's really weird. It's very much like it's one of those shows that's like extra like Japan trying to do American animation, and it has that anime flavor to it. And I think the fact that it's so American is what makes it appeal to such a wide audience.
Yeah. Which I'm happy to be part of that wide audience.
Yeah. It also has that like extra added feature that Cowboy Bebop has, where the dub is actually liked more than the sub.
I mean, if it's American influence, it makes sense. Like, I don't want to bring that into it, but really,
Yeah.
it's kind of brought into it itself.
Yeah.
All right, so
But yeah, I think that's all we have on Painting and Stocking.
I know
Giant
that's all
needs to
Jaden
watch
had.
it, but he may not.
all right, guys. Just so you know, I have still 6 picks left. Hotshot has 4,
3.
and Keo has
Oh wait, no, 4. Yeah,
No,
3.
you
I
have
still
4.
have 4. Sorry.
4. So Keo still has 4. So I'm gonna do my next picks back to back, just so we're evened out like that. We can still keep the cycle going. So this is my number 6 pick. It's an anime that is collectively loved by everyone on this podcast for sure. It's another one of these recent ones in the superhero genre that like revolutionized the anime in the 2010s, in my opinion. I'm talking about One Punch Man. The guy who could defeat the guy who could defeat anyone in a single punch. Like when I first heard about this anime, I was very confused. I was like, that's just such a ridiculous, like why would you watch this? Like the guy's always gonna win. That's gonna be boring. But the way they like crafted Saitama and this very like, oh, he has amazing epic powers, and everyone's like, yeah, but that's boring because I defeat anyone in a single punch. There's so many hilarious moments in season 1. Season 2 is just as good, if not even better. I loved season 2 so much, like with the introductions of new villains and seeing old faces come back. I just really enjoyed the comedy of this anime. How they took such a simple concept, but like maximized it to the nth degree. Seeing Saitama go up against these super mega powerful Super Saiyan 3 looking guys, and he's like, simple punch, and then they just explode and die, and they're like, ultimate turbo maximum cannon blast attack, and they shoot that at him, and he's like, dodge. Like, it's so stupidly hilarious. Like, I just like, this is one of those animes where like I don't need to think. This one, like, I turn my brain off for One Punch Man. You know what I mean? Like, this is the proof that like I'm not like this like crazy. If I'm not thinking the whole time, I'm not enjoying myself. Like, this one is like so much more comedy and action based than anything else that I've watched. So, in my opinion, One Punch Man is just one of the best animes that came out in these last few years.
I was really battling with myself, to be honest, between One Punch and Hero Academia to put on my list because I love them about the same. It was just the fact that whenever I think superheroes, I think of the ultimate like head-to-head fight, like hero versus villain, instead of just the one punch. So this was like the one time that an actual story structure and actual like battle and everything won over comedy for me. But I still fucking adore this show. I just haven't watched season 2 yet, but from what we have seen in season 1, because we have finished it, we finished season 1, that is to say, I adore Saitama, I adore Genos, I kind of like Sonic. I don't really know how to fall on Sonic, to be honest. I love Tornado.
Austin
I
has
love
some
Blizzard.
mixed feelings because he thought Sonic was a female character.
Before I started watching the show, yeah. To be fair, the posters that they do for Sonic are so fucking... I don't have the right word to use here.
I just want to go back to
Austin's bi-curious nature is like poking out there a little bit.
Apparently more than I'm willing to admit.
I wanted to say, what was that? Carnage Kabuto. The fight against Carnage Kabuto will forever be one of my favorite fights in anime. For a whole week on a rampage, that means today's bargain day at the grocery market. Just punches Carnage Kabuto. The scientist is like, what the hell is going on? Oh.
I still love the fight with the Fish King.
Oh my god, yes.
Because like all these heroes get utterly wrecked fighting this guy. Even Bicyclist Man, I can't remember his name. Moon Knight Rider. Even Midnight Rider comes in. One of the lowest ranked heroes, but he still stands up for what's right because, you know, he's a hero. That's what he does. And he gets absolutely wrecked. And Saitama just shows nothing but respect for the guy. Because honestly, yeah, that's what he deserves for that. And for Saitama to just like, okay, you're done. And even when all the citizens see this, like, why are we paying for the heroes when this guy can solve it in one punch? The way that he stomps down, or the way that he steps down, just like cheers on the other heroes and making himself the target. It's just like, he knows more of being a hero than just one punching a guy.
Literally, though. Literally.
Well, I thought wasn't the whole thing that he was like always coming in at the last minute, so like everybody thought that the characters were already softened up, and that
that's what he said at the end. He said like, "Oh, thank God."
Second to get all the glory
because of the target he made for himself. That's the pedestal he put himself on.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like
he didn't do anything.
I'm talking about like the public perception of him.
Yeah,
like,
not
everybody
until
thinks
he
that
made
he's
that. Not until he made that point. Because as far as they knew, this guy was just like one hitting the rest of the heroes. And then when a hero finally gets that one hit in, they saw him take him down in one hit. So they all just started deciding, why are we cheering on the other heroes when we can just have this guy? He put himself on the pedestal. It's like, I didn't really do much. Everyone else wore him down. I just finished him off so I can have the glory.
Oh,
okay. Dude, I love this anime.
I think I love how like Saitama is so like open to everybody else being stronger than him, because he not only does he want the fight, but he also respects, like, I love how he respects Moon Knight Rider so much, even though like he is the weakest character. It's so sweet just to see like the strongest character in the world like just be like, "Here, good job, buddy. Like you didn't do much, but I respect you for how hard you tried." Yeah.
Like, good job, buddy. I'll take it from here. You just have yourself a rest. Have a lay down.
It's kind of like the Goku complex, where like Goku is quote unquote the strongest character, but like, and like everybody always waits for him to get there, but Saitama is just like, I wanted to give you guys a fair shot.
Yeah. But that's what I liked about the Deep Sea King arc, is just the fact that Saitama wasn't there from the beginning. Like the alien invasion, he's there and he starts like destroying the spaceship very quickly. Yeah. The first episode, he takes out the villain in a single second. Speed of Sound Sonic takes care of that. So that was what I appreciate about that arc. I'd like to go into season 2, but I understand that not yet, but we will at some point. So let's go to Attack on Titan as my fifth. I kind of jumped the gun. Okay, yeah, screw it. Yes, number 5 for me is Attack on Titan. Yeah, and then we'll go to Kyo's, and then we'll be all set again.
Titan it is.
Yeah,
go for it.
This is like another epic anime, in my opinion. It's another one of those recent ones that came out in the 2010s that I mean, how could you not root for Eren and hate Titans after seeing the first episode of Attack on Titan when his mother gets absolutely devoured by that horrible Titan, and the way the story is constructed, and season 4 is currently airing as we are recording this, and I'm watching it subbed. It's so good, and it's every episode is a cliffhanger, and I'm like, oh my god, no way, that's that. I can't believe that's that. It's crazy, and like realizing more and more things throughout, like where there's not just Eren as the only human who can become a Titan, and realizing the blurred line between humans and Titans as we go, and how that gets more complicated. The battle scenes are absolutely fantastic in Attack on Titan. We talked about the music in Attack on Titan a few episodes ago, how just orchestrally epic and large and vast it is, and how I enjoy it for that reason, because the music like just represents the beings that are Titans, these huge creatures that just kill constantly. Man, like I don't know about you guys. I don't understand how this one isn't on either of your lists. This one to me is just like, it's another super solid pick, is it not? I'm saying I'm surprised for it not being on your list though.
I think it's a solid pick. I mean, why wouldn't it be? Well, I mean, it is a solid pick, but at the same time, for me at least, Attack on Titan is still one of the very, very heavy story-based animes, and the anime itself I do like, and I love, and like Kyo said earlier, I am a bit of a gore hound, so I love how bloody the fights can get. It's just the fact that, for me at least, I love the games a lot more than I actually love the show. The games actually do go through the entirety of the show. There was even a DLC that was released for the final season to actually play through.
That's another thing. Austin has a tendency to just like, if the game covers the story, then he'll just play the game.
Because I enjoy being part of that universe more than just sitting down and watching it. I mean, I know it's a very personal thing, but that's just how I stand on it. Like, I don't know. I know it's a story about like bleak hopelessness about humanity trying to take back the world.
I agree,
but at the same time, I can only take so much.
I agree with that, but like that's what makes it so fantastic to me, is because of how horrible the circumstances are, and how little these guys have to fight against the Titans, and how they're able to like develop new strategies, new equipment, train new soldiers, go out and like on wars, and you could just feel the force that is the humans trying to fight back these beings. And to me, like season 3 part 2 was just one of those seasons that just, man, that fight, it just the first part of that season really takes part in this like ultimate clash between the humans and the Titans, and you can really see what they're going through and what they want to accomplish, and how the strategies they implement, how they fight against the Titans that have their own strategies. And it's very stimulating on a action and like intellectual level, because like the story is so thick with information and these characters and the backgrounds and what they go through. And the other thing that I like about Attack on Titan is that like, because characters get killed off pretty a lot of characters get killed off in Attack on Titan, there's always new characters that get introduced. So to me, it's a way to keep the cast fresh.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. It's just always that same atmosphere to me is really the main reason.
Austin is not a fan. Austin's not a fan of like bleak atmospheres. Like if there's like a feeling of hopelessness, like that kind of weighs on Austin a little bit. Like Austin seems to have like kind of an empathetic mindset. Like if he sees somebody like in a rough situation and like there's no clear like light of day there.
Nine times out of 10, you're right, Kyo. You're absolutely right on that. But I mean, there are some I like. Like I love Danganronpa, and Danganronpa is filled with, it's literally the entire premise is hope versus despair.
Yeah, but it's not nearly as I wouldn't say that like Danganronpa is nearly as bleak.
Is as bleak as Attack on Titan. No, you're right.
Like you don't realize the bleakness until you get later on into the series.
Yeah, which I mean, Kyo basically some my view on it, right? Just
Right.
I can only take so much hopelessness before I'm like,
that.
Now I'm just getting depressed. I don't even want to see you guys get through this. You're just upsetting me. Really, that's the only reason that it's not on there. That and the games are a fuck ton of fun. I love taking down the Titans myself. Like, yes, Eren, just go mope and whine about taking down Titans over there while I kill
Exactly.
20
All right,
of them.
let's go to Keel's number 5 pick.
I haven't said any thoughts about.
Oh, sorry.
Attack on Titan
Go ahead,
just yet.
Keel.
Yeah, Jesus, Shane. Trying to
No,
get
I
in a
thought
rush
he
here?
said his thoughts earlier when we were discussing. I thought he didn't have anything else to say. But please go ahead. No, there's no rush. Literally, take your time.
Like I didn't say like the reason why it's not
Oh,
on my
fair
list,
enough. What?
actually.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you like it more than Hotshot, right?
Not really.
You like it more than Hotshot, right?
Okay, then let's go to your pick then.
For me, I like it okay. I went through the first season and then I was like, okay, I finished it. I think it's at a perfectly fine like end point. Like if I stopped there, and I'm totally okay with how it ended. Like I was like, all right, that was fun, kind of. But for me, like I didn't see much reason for it to continue. Like I get I don't know where the story's going now, so I'm not that curious. But like just the other day, my curiosity for it was kind of my interest in it peaked because I saw there's another character who uses guns, and he's also he's related to Levi. So like that thought of like a gunslinger character in that fantasy world is really interesting to me. So I actually might pick it back up. But like my main gripe with Attack on Titan is the fact that like Eren is a really boring character, and like I kind of wish that the Greek roots of the show was a little bit more apparent, like that there were more than just the Titans. I think the Titans are really good foils, but I wish that there was like more, like that we saw more of the world like in the first season. I mean, like do they explore more of the country that they live in later?
Oh my gosh, it's like yes, like there's so much more. Like,
but the only
if
monsters
I'm
are
gonna
Titans, though, yeah?
What? Pardon me?
But the only monsters are just the Titans, though, right?
I mean, you could argue that the humans are the monsters, too. You really could.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that point of view also. That's a little interesting, I guess. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, that doesn't quite interest me nearly as much as, like, the monster factor.
No, I understand, but the one thing I did want to say, like this is a mini spoiler, but like it really isn't. They go to a point where they see the ocean for the very first time. That's how far out they travel. You see what I mean?
Oh,
like they really go on these crazy expeditions, and I feel like Attack on Titan is like a reverse pyramid. Like you start kind of like thin, and it broadens out from season to season. Like season 4 is we're so deep into the story at this point that like things that were mixed up in season 3 that got mixed up in season 2 are even more mixed up. But it's like so interesting to me to like unravel and understand, oh my god, that's why in episode blah 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 this happened. Whoa. You know what I mean? That's what I really enjoy about it.
It kind of has that quality from like a CW or an AMC like live action show. Where there's always like a cliffhanger or there's a lingering storyline between like 4 episodes or something like that. Like that's not a bad quality to have, but for me personally, it didn't like keep me interested the whole series. Like, cause I actually started it when it got big and popular and everybody was talking about it. I think it's a little overblown personally. Like I think that it's like one of the best anime ever made. I don't disagree with it being well animated or having an interesting story.
Yes, I remember you saying that. It is. I understand why you say that because it's so big and large. But to me, the hype, it's worth it because like you haven't seen those seasons, right? You haven't, right?
Well, I mean, like even when the first season came out, everybody was hyping it up as like one of the best anime ever made. I think it was a good like way of like getting people back into anime, but I don't think it's better than like Hero Academia. I think Hero Academia has some better writing. I think my main gripe is just that I don't think Eren is a very good or interesting character. I think that he's just kind of written as like a revenge character, and mainly when I think of a revenge character, I think of that as like a secondary character usually, like maybe just because like Sasuke is like kind of ruined that idea for me. But he doesn't quite grab me like Naruto or Mikasa. I think Mikasa is a better character, honestly.
I love Aaron. Personally, I love Aaron voice. I heavily disagree, but I understand that like
That's fair, man. Like he just doesn't like. I just don't gravitate towards Aaron because I think that he doesn't, or like there's not enough definition there for me.
But like, regardless, what I was trying to say is that Attack on Titan to me just really put anime on the map, and you have to respect that. You have to appreciate it for that too. So just in general, I understand that the popularity might be like a bit of an overhyped thing for it, but at the same time, I feel like it's earned that. Like that hype is not overhyped for me. That hype is like makes complete sense due to how great the show is.
Like I said, I don't think it's a bad show. I just think that Aaron is not. I think the main character being interesting is just as important as the rest of the world being interesting. I just think that there was no hook for me personally. Like I might go back into it because of the new information I've been seeing, but that was just my initial thoughts. My thoughts will probably change if
let's
I watch
let's
more
go
of
to
it.
Kill la Kill. I think is there anything else that you guys want to say? But to me, like I feel like I'm kind of repeating myself a little bit here. All right,
I didn't
let's
really
go.
have anything else on Titan. No.
Yeah, you guys got a fair deal. I think you guys got a fair deal in on there. I think I think I just added like another 10
All right, I'm
minutes
currently
to
watching
the
this pick, guys.
conversation
So
about it.
I'm gonna have some thoughts to share for this one for sure. So your number 5, Keel.
My number 5 is one of my favorite action series, Kill la Kill. And Austin has watched a few episodes of this. He hasn't finished it either, so.
I've played through the game of it.
Oh wait, that's right. Yeah, so the show's been spoiled for you. You know how it ends now.
Yeah.
So I guess we can. I guess we can go into a little bit of spoiler, but we don't want to.
I've seen up to episode 5. If that gives you an idea.
That's fair. So we can't really say anything.
So we can't like reveal like the last couple episodes, basically. Yeah. I think that's totally fair.
All right, go ahead.
But yeah, I'll go ahead and just explain what that's all about. Kill la Kill is very much a revenge. It is a revenge story, but it builds and builds up, and it has sort of a underlying like message of like vanity, but the underlying message doesn't really matter. It's kind of just there to have some cool action and a fair deal of fan service, which obviously for me and Austin is not a problem. We run PonzuCast. You guys know what we're about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very action fan service focused series, and it has a lot of unique imagery. Like for example, the transformation is very much like obviously Sailor Moon inspired, but it's taken to another level by being a little bit risque.
Sailor Moon vibes when she put on like
what's up?
Silver Moon coming out in 2022.
That's a new series.
That's long after Sailor Moon Crystal, the one that everybody seemed to hate. But yeah, that's the plot synopsis. That's the series that has the character with the extra skimpy outfit with the giant red scissor blade,
which we all love, and that's a problem.
This character's got a big chip on their shoulder, and they want revenge right away. And you could see there's a drive to them, and that's what I really liked, because I just saw, okay, this is like 3-dimensional character from the beginning. This was introduced to me as kind of as a hotshot show, and I was like, okay, well, let's see. In the first episode, I was like, okay, this is cool. I like this. And I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing so far. The other classmates are kind of dull here and there. Teachers are kind of just random, but like the main character is like the spotlight for me. And that's why I keep watching every single episode and want to watch more, for sure.
I think the better characters are mainly like are Ryuko's best friend and the
Mako.
Yeah, Mako is amazing. I love Mako.
No,
Mako
I do too.
hilarious.
I do too. I'm just like, she's a better character than Ryuko? Really?
No, what? No, I was saying like the like when he was saying like the classmate characters.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Like or like a lot of the classmate characters, like the ones that keep challenging her, are very throwaway. Like they're kind of meant to be monster of the week kind of characters. Like these are the new obstacle for a couple days, but the student council characters and Mako are really good characters. I think they're a lot more enjoyable than the, like the one-off characters.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Okay,
they would
I guess I just checked out there for a second. I'm like, wait, how is Mako a better character than the main character?
I don't know. I think Ryuko is a better developed character. I like that her revenge is doesn't keep her from making connections with like Mako and her family, and just like the fact that she's not solely focused on revenge.
She doesn't pull a Sasuke, essentially. Just
the more I think about it, Kill la Kill resembles Kakegurui to me, because the whole student council trying to get taken down. I mean, obviously the two main characters are completely different, but there's a lot of that like same setting where it's like in a school and they're trying to take down the student council, and like they started out at the lowest possible rank and they fight their way up. And I just want to say Sengetsu, the what is it? It's like the uniform armor character. I don't know. There's something about that character that kind of freaks me out. Like whenever Sengetsu's like, all right, put me on, I'm like, okay, this is happening. Should I go to the kitchen and get some food while this scene plays? I'm kind of like,
I realize it's like more so on the form of like,
yeah, literally.
Sengetsu is kind of a battle hungry hound, but at the same time, this is your clothes yelling, strip down and put me on. So it's just, kind of like,
it is a very odd way to. It is an odd way to, or it is an odd character, but I think he's funny enough.
So much.
Yeah, I think he's funny enough that he, like, the creepy moments are a little balanced out with with how weird the concept is.
I mean, it really is more of a battle thing with him than it is a creep, but that isn't to say none of the creep factors are.
I mean, to be fair, like take almost any line out of context from Kill la Kill, and it would probably sound weird to literally anybody else.
Yeah. No, I will 100% back that
up. But Kill la Kill is just, it's got good action, and the revenge bit is like the two things that makes me want to watch more and makes me want to keep going. Like that's amazing to me. I just really love like how
the story is like it doesn't have to be that strong, like, but the fact is, like, I think as long as your characters are solid, and I think that Kill la Kill has some really solid characters. Like I think that even the what's the student council, sorry, the student council characters, like you eventually, like, they kind of grow on you like as the show goes along. And like they're not like once they're defeated, they're not thrown away. Like they still have a part to play in the story as it goes on, which I think is a really like it's a testament to like how strong the character writing is.
No way! I want to be with my best buddy Hotshot. Ah, damn it! I did it again. Ah, your turn, Hotshot.
Wow, first time Jane said, "Okay, let's stop. I have something I want to do more." I don't think it's my turn because I'm on number 4, and
everyone did the number 5.
Everyone did number 5s. Okay, so we're just starting over with me again.
I think unless someone else wants to go, we're all even again now. So okay. Whatever you prefer.
Yeah, I haven't gone for a while. Yeah, I can go.
Okay.
Yes.
You do that, buddy.
I honestly kind of surprised myself by putting this one this high on my list.
Makes no sense
when I looked at it more. It kind of put itself there. Number 4 for me is actually Fairy Tail, and it's
one of the shows that Jaian could not quite get into
because it's just power of friendship overload.
9 seasons of friendship, dude.
Funny enough, I thought Jaden would love because he's all about hashtag friendship. But apparently not when it solves all the problems.
Not when it's like I just feel like I'm too old for this show, man.
You're
like,
2 years
come on,
older
bro.
than me.
I'm closer to my 30s.
You're watching cartoons on a regular basis. I think that you should be able to suspend your feeling of like I'm too old for this shit.
This one, no, this
Dude,
one's like
I would still watch PBS kids shows if I could. I just can't find them anywhere.
I'm telling you, it's got that Yu-Gi-Oh friendship vibe to me. That's like just too much. It's overkill of friendship. It's just too much.
You love Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, but like I wouldn't rewatch Yu-Gi-Oh now. Like I said before with GX, you know, I wouldn't rewatch it now.
You need more friendship in your life.
In my opinion, this came I had wrong.
We tried to
if
get
I was
you on
younger,
it
I would have watched
when
this
you
for
were
sure.
younger,
Definitely.
5 years ago.
And you still
Yeah,
said
that's
no.
still. Yeah, no. How'd you know me in like
Wow.
grade school or something? You know,
It
bro, it
wasn't
came out in
even out when you were in
2009.
grade school.
We didn't even know it existed in
Anyways.
2009.
Anyway, so
Go ahead,
Fairy Tail
Hotshot.
for me, like, yeah, I can make fun of the power of friendship tropes like all day and all night, because like that really is what seals the deal for a lot of the fights. But at the same time, the magic, the world, the creatures, the spells, the characters you meet, every part of this world speaks upon volume on volume to me, especially because like I'm a really big pyro user. I love fire spells or fire weapons or anything like that. So for the fact that our main character is a literal red fire dragon, essentially, it just spoke on a personal resonate with me. Especially with the fact that like I love Todd Habercorn in everything that I have heard him in, but whenever I think of Todd, the first character I think of is Natsu, because it's just that high energy, high like we gotta go kind of energy. Like, yeah, you take things seriously, but at the same time, you're mainly here to have fun. And not to really kind of save the show for me at first. It took me a little bit just to like Lucy, just because like, okay, new character in a world that's already been like really well established, like a guild that's been highly established, but she's the new face in it. So it's her point of view mainly. Gray just being like the angsty rival. I immediately fell in love with Urza. It's just the characters more than anything save the show for me, and that's why the friendship thing doesn't really bother me as much, because of how close these characters are to each other. And hell, even with how close they are to each other, some of their enemies turn tail and join them and become close to them, and I just love that kind of thought to it.
It has that like Piccolo and Vegeta thing where like sometimes the villain will like see the error of their ways and join the good guys to atone for what they've done.
Oh my god!
Like,
And other times you just have to straight up murder a bitch.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which they have done. They have just
Hotshot, let me
straight
ask
up
you,
killed.
have you finished this, or Kyo, have you finished this series?
Neither of
Because
us
9
have finished
seasons
We have
No.
not.
is a lot.
No.
I have watched quite a fair deal of it, and recently
I
a
think
Fairy
you've
Tail...
seen. I think you and I have both seen about 4 seasons.
Yeah. And then very recently, like this year, like later half of this year, the Fairy Tail game came out for PlayStation, so I played through that, which covered arcs that I haven't seen before, which gave me new characters and new storylines to follow. Because there was a storyline where they're
That's
trapped.
that's the RPG one, right?
Yeah, that's the one that you keep walking in
Okay.
on me playing.
Right.
It takes place like to everyone else, it's about 7 years later from a certain arc, but to the Fairy Tail Guild, like no time has passed at all because they were trapped in a spell. So where they used to be the number one guild in their land, now they're bottom of the rung, and that's one of the things that you have to do in the game is bring everybody back up. And it goes through the Magical Games arc, the Attack the Dragons arc, I think it actually goes through the final season arc. I could be wrong, but
I don't know if it went through the final season, because the final season just wrapped up this year.
It might be released as DLC then. I know that the costumes are in there at least. I thought the arc might have been with it, but I could be wrong.
Gotcha.
But it's just that kind of show to me. Like, yeah, I can make fun of the friendship tropes, but I still love the friendship tropes.
It's just dropped in like the ocean of friendship, and now like I there's too much friendship in it for me. And I know that's like such a generic excuse, and I understand like for some people that can be frustrating, but I watched it, and it just felt like a copy and paste of other shows I've seen that play that same card. And because of like sequentially I watched it after those shows, I was like, no, this is just more of the same. I'm not doing this. That's what it really felt like to me. But the cool thing about that though is that
yeah, you're
think,
like the only person who can get angry at me where I'm just like, yeah, I don't really care. Kyo, you were saying?
I was gonna say, I think at some point in like being people who just consume anime so much, at a certain point, like you'll get to a point where like I've seen all this shit before, but like there's always a point at which where like there's a series that comes out and you're like, I remember why I love anime so much. Like you just like have that reawakening, like that new series that comes out and you're like, I don't care so much about the tropes. Like I think every so many years, like we all have a reset of like, yeah, there are the tropes are always there, but that's kind of still why we like it in the first place, you know? Like I think Lanny Pator said this best. Nick Landis from Team 4 Star said, if you love something, you accept all of its flaws. And that's how they described Dragon Ball like a few times. And it's like, they made probably some of the best Dragon Ball content in the world, really.
Which is utterly filled with flaws, meaning Dragon Ball in general.
Oh yeah, absolutely. and they're like, yeah, we know this is stupid sometimes.
But we still love it. And that's
Yeah.
the exact same way I feel with Fairy Tail. And I know how we all feel with Naruto.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and there's no such thing as a perfect show. If there is, well, that was boring. So it's as much fun as you love your show. It's almost even more fun to just constantly make fun of it.
I have nothing else to say. I hate the show.
Okay, fine. Beat it. Yo,
I'm
fuck
sorry.
It.
I
Let's
just
go with
throwing
you.
shade
God
there, bro.
Damn.
Come on.
No, you're good.
I badmouth Attack on Titan for a while, and I don't think a lot of people are going to be happy about that.
So whose pick is it now? Let's see. We're at Kyo's number 4, right?
Yeah, it's number 4.
Go ahead, Kyo.
Yeah, number 4. Okay,
Get ready for another show you don't like very much.
I like this one more.
That's
fair.
Kyo,
Yeah.
just take it away. I'm tired of being wrong.
whatever.
100 episodes.
All right,
of
yeah,
being wrong.
100 episodes and Austin's still wrong.
Yo, that's your line. Go.
Well, I got it. Blah, blah. I didn't know. I thought, or I made a joke and nobody laughed, so I was upset.
Oh my god.
You have to shut
Yo,
the fuck
2
up. I
hours
don't want your
into
pity laughter. Shut up, Austin.
2 hours into a
No, that one
podcast
was
and
genuine
Assassin's so
because I
real right now.
just made you upset.
Oh my god. All right. My number 4 is Soul Eater. And this is one that I picked up very early on, which is why it's a little higher on my list, because Austin and I got into this one around the same time, I want to say. Actually, you know what? Austin, I think you and our friend at the time saw it before I did.
I thought I saw this one with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I could have sworn we were at our friend's house and he said that I thought that you two had talked about it like you had seen it already.
We talked about it because like we knew the existence, but I didn't start watching it until you and I started doing stuff.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess then that we did start it around the same time, and it was a pretty big one because I think that's one of the few ones that we finished together around the same time, I think.
We did finish this one together. We straight up did.
Yeah. And it's one of those ones that holds a special place in my heart because like it was one of the like a lot of these shows are on here because they influenced my art and my interest in voice acting. And like this is the show where I really started learning about voice actors, and one of the voice actors in here, at least for the English dub that is now on Critical Role and does a whole bunch of like really cool roles. And oh jeez. And to this day I'm still surprised that that's the same actress, and she doesn't sound anything like the character, and I think that just speaks volumes to their performance. For me, Soul Eater's art style is a little bit of that. It feels a little bit like anime. It feels like a mix of like sort of the Naruto style with a graffiti punk sort of look to it, and it's probably one of the most unique looking anime series ever, along with like Panty and Stocking,
because of like the gothic atmosphere and like the linear aspect to it, or how do you mean?
Artistically, it doesn't look like any other anime. Like you couldn't mistake Soul Eater for like say like Sailor Moon. Like you couldn't like see like there's always like the stigma for anime that a lot of the shows look the same. Sometimes that's true. Like sometimes Sailor Moon looks a little bit too similar to other shows, whereas Soul Eater, it doesn't have that problem because it has sort of a it kind of has the characters. No two characters look the same. Like all the characters look completely different from one another.
I don't know. Blair looks exactly like Medusa. I don't know what you're talking about. Hell, even characters that are supposed to look mostly the same look different, meaning Liz and Patty. Twins.
They're fraternal twins.
Still, though.
That's fair. But this is also the origin of that meme that Jaian didn't kill until
we
recently.
went over this last time. We're not talking about this.
Oh, you mean that one with the character that he just absolutely hates? It was the color and the constellation or some shit like that.
I can't remember what his name is.
I think blue-haired Naruto will do.
But
yeah, probably.
I actually want to say stuff about Soul Eater. I've seen like maybe the first 8 episodes, let's say, and I know there's a meme about me hating that specific character. Black Star, by the way, for people who are like, who are you guys talking about?
I love how you break your own rule.
Anyways, besides the point. It's a good anime. Soul Eater is good. Honestly, you can't say it's bad. It's great fights. It's strong character development. It's funny. It covers the gamut. Honestly, it's a solid pick. To me, it ranks. I understand why this ranks as high as a One Punch Man or Attack on Titan anime, because it just is quality. Like you can't not watch that show and not tell me it's quality. You know what I mean? It's not quality. It's really well made. It's well animated. It's well paced. The story's enticing. Like it has all the elements that you need in a good anime. So to me, I can respect this pick. This pick makes a lot of sense to me for those reasons.
Like we even had like early days, like before we did Naruto abridged, all the way back when we had a few attempts at doing Soul Eater abridged, but like later on we were just like, there's not much to make fun of here. Like it's already a pretty tight show. Like the plot holes are very few and far between.
I mean, I guess the only thing to do in that point is to bring your own shovel and dig your own plot holes, but I don't really
pretty
want
much.
to do that.
I mean, why would you? It's so well put together. Like like all the characters have understandable goals, and they're like they develop as they go on, and even if they don't, like you're happy with how they are in that, or like how they've developed already.
Now,
and the fact that
characters I can make fun of all day, like Excalibur, but I'm deciding not to.
Excalibur is meant to be a punching bag. Like he kind of just made him because he needed an imperfect and annoying character almost.
We have Black Star though. We're fine.
All right, let's go to.
That's fair. That's completely fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about all I had on Black Star. Black Star. This is Black Star now.
Oh my god! Yo,
it's Black Star.
I'm sorry. I'm kind of losing the wheel here in terms of like
Jaden?
saying serious things. I
only had to make you do a 3-hour podcast in order to break you.
Bro, it's gonna be 4 hours at this rate. I'm telling you.
All right, go.
My next pick, number 4, Yu Yu Hakusho. This one, like, we're getting into like my favorite animes here. This is the elite 4. This is the cream of the crop for me. Yu Yu Hakusho is an anime that I binged twice. I love this anime. Yusuke Urameshi is one of my favorite characters of all time. The setting here is basically Yusuke, a delinquent, a nobody, a kid that like bullies people at school that no one likes, sacrifices himself in the first scene of the anime, and this character for this kid that's like playing with a ball in the street, and then he jumps out, pushes the kid out of the way as the car's passing, and he gets struck by the car and dies. That's the first scene, and that to me is what I love this anime. It set the tone right away. You do not know what to expect with Yusuke and Yu Yu Hakusho. It has 4 beautiful arcs. It has one of my favorite tournament arcs with the Dark Tournament. The characters in Yu Yu Hakusho are so like 3-dimensional to me. You really feel Hiei or Kurama, Toguro, those villains. Like it covers the gamut in terms of relatable characters, good action, good comedy, good timing, depth. The music is fantastic in Yu Yu Hakusho. It's one of those super solid shonen shows that came out in the 90s that I just love so much. I was so happy for the was it the 25-year anniversary or the 20-year anniversary? There was an anniversary a few years back of Yu Yu Hakusho. I think it was a 25-year one. And they
something like that,
or like the year before. It was in the last 2 years. And
yeah, man. Like I remember some of our like video chats. I would see like the poster in the back, and like you were always like trying to tell me to go watch it. I have watched some of it. I wish I could watch more, but I always like have other shows that I haven't finished. And like it just piles on top for me. But what I have seen of Yu Yu Hakusho, I really like it. And can you really name another show where your character is killed within the first minute? Like your main character is dead, like already?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Zombieland Saga.
She has at least like 3 minutes or something. Come on.
No, she writes the letter, runs out of her house, and gets hit by a semi.
No, but like the opening of Yu Yu Hakusho is everybody's around the ambulance. That's the first shot.
Okay, Konosuba.
He has like 10 minutes or something before that.
No, I'm telling you, Hotshot, the show opens
Literally.
and
I'm
Yusuke's
just
dead.
gonna shut up. Go ahead.
I love you so much, Hotshot. I really do, man.
All right, then.
Okay. Awkward silence?
I mean, it's one that I've been like slightly curious about, especially because again, he's another appearance that shows up in J Stars, and I actually do enjoy playing as him. It's just not one of the ones that I've like dived hard into. Like I really wanted to learn more and more about this one. Like I know Spirit Gun, and that's really about it. And I didn't know that literally the first frame he's dead. I just knew that he was dead in the beginning, and that was it. Didn't know that it was the first frame, and I didn't know that that was apparently what we were looking for in that frame of reference, but apparently it was.
Fair enough. I mean, just to me, Spirit Gun is one of those iconic attacks. Now that you mention it, like to me, it rivals. It's like it rivals the Kamehameha in terms of like that. It was super popular when it came out in the 90s, and I shot a Spirit Gun when I was like playing around. I was like 20.
I mean, I still fire Spirit Guns, and I still try to use the Omnitrix, or not Spirit Guns. I fire Kamehamehas and try to use the Omnitrix. It still hasn't worked.
Just give it time, guys. We'll be able to shoot plasma from our fingertips one day.
I'm counting down the minutes. So my number 3, it actually was originally my number 1, and I've said even on podcasts that this is my favorite anime of all time, but since then it has moved on. I think I was just like speaking of the hype because it was a new show that I absolutely adored, and I still do adore, hence why it's on my number 3 spot, Date Alive.
Plus it's also a video game, so of course Austin loved it.
It's a more of a visual novel dating sim, yeah, but
it's still a game. I mean, come on.
I mean, yeah, but okay, fine, yeah, it's still a game. Yeah. But I found the show first, and the way that me and Kyo actually found the show was there was a character we saw circling around the internet with one red eye, one gold eye, with long black twin tails in a red maid dress. And when we just went up to like Seattle to see a movie or something. They had an anime or a nerd shop really that we end up looking around for a bit, and we found the show just because she was on the cover of it. So we decided fuck it and bought the entire first season. I think I actually might have bought all 3 seasons or the first 2 seasons right then and there. No.
Yeah, you did.
No, I did only buy 1. I ordered the other 2 later.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So we brought that season home, and when we started watching it, I immediately fell in love. Kodori, the little sister trope, and just kind of the tsundere trope, just annoying the fuck out of Shido or brother, and it very quickly changes from slice of life to sci-fi, harem, dating, comedy, yet still filled with action kind of show, and I fucking adored it for it. Not only that, but the characters that we meet, the spirits that Shido has to seal, like I love each and every one of them that come into play.
We had a whole episode on convincing me to watch this show, and to me it just felt what I'm trying to remember what I said, but like to me, it just felt like very. What the hell's going on? Why is she in the spaceship? Why is that? What? It was all happening so fast and so sequentially. I was beyond confused when I watched it. But
My excuse for that is that it's anime. It doesn't have to make sense.
like, I was just watching this, and I was like, okay, this is clearly like entertaining in the sense of like the comedy and the ridiculousness of what's going on. But it happened too fast for me. It really happened too fast.
These are
you know
spirits. They've come to our world. We need to stop that. There you
That's
go.
all you need to know, bro.
Yeah. And the way you seal them, you have to kiss them. And apparently when you kiss them, they lose all their clothes.
And apparently, this is a Hotshot show. Literally,
yeah,
the character
it's
says it in the
probably
show itself. I remember. I read that. I read that in the subtitles.
I know.
I am surprised that this
I
is
was
not your number
debating.
one.
I was debating on putting out my number one, but the other two I have like ever so slightly pushed it back. It is still really high on my list though, especially because it was number one for a long time. But I'll explain why when I actually get to my number one, like what actually bumped it out.
I think it's cute. I don't have any like distaste for it. Quite frankly, Austin overhyped it with me. Like he watched it a lot when he got into it. he rewatched the show a few times, and for me, whenever I finish a show, I don't want to watch it again. I've absorbed all that it has, and if I want to watch something again, it's because I want to go back and like see what I liked about it, see if my thoughts have changed. Austin wanted to rewatch the whole thing all over again, like the day after we finished, like all that was currently available.
No, definitely.
I was like, just slow down with this, please.
I mean, I have sense.
And like, obviously we did. You have, because you stopped watching it again.
Yeah, but now I might bring it into my room and start watching it again.
If you're watching it in your room, I don't care. Just don't like drag me into it.
All right, living room it is.
No,
I don't know what to
living
say.
room's mine until my ankles.
My
heal.
number 3?
All right, moving on.
Hey, yeah, but yeah, I don't hate the show. I like it. I think it's cute. It's not especially I don't think it's especially great. I just think that I think it's good.
Very fair.
I think that's all.
Let's I'm going to go to
that's all
my
it
number
has to
3
be.
pick. This one is a Hotshot favorite.
Old joke. Old
In all
joke.
seriousness, my
Old joke.
Are you kidding me? Black Star is not an old joke, and you guys still brought it up. What's the difference here? There's no difference. In all seriousness,
I'm just teasing you more about it because we weren't allowed to make our joke.
I was being
you
a
were
crybaby
apparently
about it.
allowed
You're
to
right.
make the joke.
All right, so subscribe to the
It's on his
Crybaby
channel.
In all seriousness, Death Note. This one is a very meaningful anime to me. I watched it when I was I just met you guys, and I was going overseas to France on an internship, and I was like, oh, I need something to watch to kill time, and people just kept mentioning Death Note, and I remember at that point the podcast had to get a break. We had done 3 episodes, and then I left for 3 months, and when I came back, I grabbed Kyo, I grabbed Ben, I was like, guys, Death Note. We all watched
We
it.
recorded
We're
it
doing
during
an episode
Christmas,
about it. And
by
to
the
this
way.
day, it's one of my
Yeah.
during Christmas, right? And to this day, it's one of my favorite episodes ever. Like that one is just very special to me. But more on Death Note itself. It's about basically Light Yagami, who gets this magical death note where if you write someone's name in the death note and you think of their face, 40 seconds later they die of a heart attack. And L, this super smart detective who's basically cracked every case he's ever been on, decides to get on the Kira case, Kira being killer Light Yagami, and try to understand what's going on. And it's this big cat and mouse of I know that he knows that I know that he knows that I saw that he saw that I know that he knows. Like all this stuff to try to figure out who Kira is, and Kira trying to kill L. And the first season to me is the better one. Season 2 though, like Nier picks up the role of L. Spoiler alert. Oh, sorry about that. Nier picks up the role of L, and you can really see it's not the same anymore. It doesn't have the same energy. Like it just kind of slowed down for me. I still really enjoyed it, but to me, one of the best rivalries. And I don't know what you think, Kyo.
I think
as the other Death Note fan
think,
on this.
I like
cast.
Nier. Okay, Nier is a good successor to L. The problem is that I don't think he has like a whole lot that differentiates him from L, which is kind of why it's like, why did you even bring this character in here when he's basically the exact same character? It's like, why did you guys even kill him off in the last season if you were just gonna bring that same character in? The real answer is because they didn't have another character who could rival L's intelligence, so they just had to bring in like his kind of protege or whatever they were. But like for me, I think that I think I would have to say that I definitely really still like Death Note. And I think that the first season, I agree with you completely, is probably the best. However, I do have to say for season 2, best ending ever. I like how I think it's a really good I thought it was a really good ending. I just liked how it all tied together at the end, and like the fact that Light just gets cornered at the end, and by that point he's already made an impact on the world, and he's kind of proven his point, and some people are still like wondering, like even after they've killed him, like was he right? Like maybe he had a point. And like the whole fact and the whole purpose of Death Note is like that question is like, is it worth it to kill killers? Like, does that make you evil for actually doing it? And like I think to this day there are still people who are just like are on either side of that, and like there's still that split down the middle of like what that question
No, right.
means.
I know. To me, that's always been a debate. Like, I don't think anyone should be able to dictate where someone lives or dies just with that power right there. I've had.
Yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree with you on that. But it's still interesting to debate the question. Like, it's still interesting to have that. It's still interesting to have that conversation.
What would you do with a Death Note? You're chilling, you're gaming, and this book falls through a chimney, and you pick it up and you read the rules. What do?
Close it, put it in a chest, drop it down a river.
For the next person to find? Really?
I mean, I probably would just like either lock it up safe, because I mean, like, I don't really see me as a person to just like, oh, this guy is actually really, really bad, and I can change that. But then am I really, really bad? It's just it still brings up that same question. Like, yeah, if I kill this killer, I could save like potential hundreds of lives, but at the same time, I've still done the exact same thing they're doing. So it's just kind of like, I don't see myself as righteous, so I don't really think I would actually do anything with the Death Note.
Very fair. All right. I think
I do personally think that everybody has like that one person like out there that they probably would use a Death Note on.
All right, you got to find a new co-host then, buddy.
Guys, I guess that's the end of Anime Podcasters. It's been a great 100
Could
episodes.
you imagine? It ends like that. Like, of all ways to end, it ends with his least favorite show.
It ends with apparently Jaden saying he's gonna kill me. That about sums up our relationship just fine.
Best buddy ever.
Hey, I'm right here.
All right. So next up is what? Kyo's number 2?
Yeah, we're in number 2. Guys, we're getting to the cream of the crop of the cream of the crop.
We're finishing this.
Or we're getting through the top 3. My bad. Okay.
Okay.
All right. My number 2 is I don't know if I would say that it's if it's lesser known or if it's a under the radar sort of anime, but most of the time when I bring it up, people don't know about it. Anyway, Gun X Sword is another revenge story. Of course, it's anime. A revenge story about a sword wielding cowboy. I guess he's not really a cowboy. He's wearing a tuxedo. But
night because I sleep all day.
And basically, he's going to get revenge on this person that he's called the Claw, which is a character who has a claw on his right hand, and he murdered his wife in cold blood with that claw. And the entire premise of the story is him going to get revenge on this character, and the story develops and unfolds, and he collects some friends along the way. And it's also a mecha anime on top of all that. So it's a lot of weird things combined. Like I said before, like anime is the only place where you could see Western mecha and like a lot of emotional depth all in one place.
Which actually, I don't think I've ever asked. How do you actually feel about mecha anime, like just in general?
I'm on and off with mecha. Like I don't think I'm a huge fan of mecha, honestly. Like I don't hate it, but like as long as I like the characters, I think
Yeah,
I'll enjoy
I was
it.
gonna ask, like,
Which is why we feel as strongly as we do with Gurren Lagann and Darling in the Franxx.
Oh yeah, I like Darling and the Franxx okay, but I think I like Gurren Lagann
mecha
more,
anime.
personally.
Is it just because like machines are involved? Like, I'm trying to understand like what mecha
like-
anime really is.
Imagine like Voltron, like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Ultimate Robot form.
Okay, and
That
all right, I'm just trying to understand.
that
Like,
is a mecha anime.
it seems cool. Like, it seems very cool, and it seems like there's really a lot of action in here, and I'm loving the designs from what I'm seeing from this one. So when I researched
Yeah,
it,
it
earlier.
also has a fairly unique art style. I can see some characters looking like other art styles, but like the main character is very distinct in his design for me, and like it has a bit of a Western quality to it. Like he'll come to a town and then he'll whip out his mech that's in a satellite in space. You know, it's a little weird, but it's an anime. It's really cool. Like I keep recommending it to everybody who hasn't heard of it or seen it, because the character development is really there, and the just the way the story is told. And like I always like those like traveling characters, like the character who goes from like town to town and they leave an impact on that town by helping them without even really meaning to.
Yeah, that's like basically like what I've gathered from it, because I haven't really seen much of it before like the little research I did. So, I mean, if it's number 2, it's got to be really good. Though.
It's a little similar to Bebop. I would probably liken it more to Trigun than I would to Bebop, but it definitely has some of that in there, I would say. Mm-hmm.
Really, really good, meaning it means a lot to.
It's just my personal pick. It's just my personal pick. I just have I also have a bias for it because it was one of the second. It's technically the third anime that I ever watched and finished when I was in high school.
Fair enough.
So
Yeah, I know. It's objectively nostalgic.
I hate to say that nostalgia is a factor because like I want to try to look at things objectively sometimes, but sometimes you can't help but like let nostalgia like play a factor in what you like.
What I will say is what I have seen Gun Next Door, because I have seen nowhere near like all the show, but I have seen a fair deal of it. I really do like. I especially love the mecha battles because I'm a sucker for mecha.
You'll like the later mecha battles. Like it's revealed later on that
where they're actually longer. Where they're actually longer.
Yeah, well, kind of. Like there are bigger ones from the same project that Vaughn was a part of back in the day, and there are some stronger ones, and he has to go up against them. It gets pretty cool.
Probably my favorite thing that I've seen from the show so far, though, is Vaughn's weapon, because it is so fucking unique.
It's anime.
It's so cool, though, isn't it?
It is a ribbon sword.
Yeah.
I don't really have another way to describe it. It is a ribbon that can turn solid into a sword.
It can be a whip and it can be a sword. It's a really cool idea.
Yeah, but usually when I think of a whip that's a sword, I think of like Ivy Valentine from Soul Cow, where it's a snake sword.
That's true.
But his is like literally just a cloth that can turn into solid metal.
Oh, you know what it reminds me of?
It
reminds me of those snap-on bracelets that you like, and it like curls around your wrist.
Yeah, actually, it looks like way more. I don't know if this is the right word, but like fluid than that. Like more wavy, like more like you can move it around like it is an actual piece of fabric instead of just a hard piece of plastic.
Yeah, for real.
But really, unfortunately, that's all I had on Gun Next Door. Like, I like what I've seen so far. I just wish I've seen more. Like, I like Wendy, I like Vaughn, I like Carmen, I like the weapon, I like the mech.
So my second pick is Dragon Ball. I love this anime so much. To me, it's the godfather of all animes. I'm picking every series from it just because of how amazing it is. It's complete nostalgia, but this anime has been with me since I started watching anime. I remember watching the early Dragon Balls. I love Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Super to me is amazing. The Broly movie, which is the most recent canon release of Dragon Ball, was one of the best anime movies I've seen. Goku is a great relatable character. There's so much from this anime that everyone loves. Like, I don't even know where to begin with it because of how vast and how big and how amazing this anime is. The characters have incredible depth. The action is like comes out of the screen. There's too much action in this anime where it's everywhere. The storyline is beautiful. I love the villains. The battles are completely epic. The transformations. Everyone here has tried to fire off a Kamehameha once. Like, to me, this anime is just beyond fantastic. I love every character. Oh, dude, I'm just nerding out about Dragon Ball right now. Like,
because in my eyes, top 10 animes for someone who has watched a massive shit ton of anime, and I get that you've watched even more than we have, is not really a lot of spots to talk about like all the anime that you really adore. Because Dragon Ball really would be really close to me. Like, it would probably be just behind Naruto. Like 13, 14 at the absolute most. But it was just, there were just shows that I just adored more. Like, yeah, it may not be as epic or anything like that, but it was just a personal enjoyment thing. But I fucking love the world of Dragon Ball. I love original Dragon Ball. I love Z. I even have a special place in my heart for GT. I love the Dragon Ball games, like especially Budokai Tenkaichi 2 and Kakarot that came out. When that came out, I played it almost nonstop until I beat the entire fucking thing.
I'm still playing it. I beat the whole thing. I'm still doing the side missions. I love that game.
Really, Dragon Ball holds a special place for all of us for various different reasons and various different levels. But we can all agree that if there was an anime that we came together for that wasn't Naruto and Dragon Ball came up into the picture.
Yeah, if nobody abridged Dragon Ball, we would have been T4 star right now, guys. Come on, we missed the best opportunity of our lives.
I don't want to put myself that high on a pedestal.
No. Naruto abridged was not that good.
That was nowhere close.
It was the best thing ever.
So like, I didn't put it on my list mainly because like I didn't grow up with it.
And that's it. That's all we need.
Like, I have more to say on it, but like, I didn't grow up with it like the way you guys did. I didn't watch like Toonami as a kid. Like, I didn't really know about Toonami until it was a little too late. Like, it was like high school when I got into anime, and like I didn't even watch Dragon Ball all that much. Like, I saw like my introduction to Dragon Ball was actually abridged. So like I actually, you know what? No, I did see the early episodes of Z. Like, I saw the beginning of the Saiyan arc, but I didn't get that far into it because it didn't quite grab me at the time. But
I will say for the original Dragon Ball, I did have a VHS movie, Dragon Ball: The Curse of the Blood Rubies.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
really?
Where it had the Blood Ruby quest with it, yeah. But then it also had like the first time that Goku ever gathered all 7 Dragon Balls and summoned Shenron.
Huh.
So it was, good God, I can't remember like any of it because it's been so long, but it still holds that special of a place.
For me personally, I actually like Dragon Ball a little more than I like Z, because I like the I like the adventure aspect of it, and I like it feels more carefree and it feels more like adventure than Z does. Z feels very much like it feels a little bit more like a karate tournament. It feels like every arc is all about building up to the big bad guy and then the final fight with that bad guy. Don't get me wrong. I still like Dragon Ball Z because the child in me absolutely loves like the violence. Like, who doesn't love anime just for like pure violence alone sometimes?
That's fair. Especially with okay, so like especially when you like direct compare Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z, So when Roshi fires off the original Kamehameha and puts out the Ox King's mountain that's on fire, and you see like the absolute power of the Kamehameha, and then you go to Z, God forbid, Super, and see the moves that obliterate entire fucking planets without blinking an eye.
And they even have
It's just like, okay, you've gone from
they even have Super Dragon Ball Heroes, which is like an ongoing like ONA, I think is what it's called, for this card game of Dragon Ball, and they have like episodes dropping on YouTube every like other month, and I've been keeping up with that. It's so random and it's so confusing. Like there one episode I see them finding a gold cooler, and then the next episode Janemba's there. I'm like, you guys are just using every character ever, and there's like 20 Gokus, and
Beerus, step beneath Rose.
Just I'm so all over the place, but at least I'm like
Ultra Instinct Super Saiyan, where Goku has purple hair. And we keep saying One Piece will never die.
Yeah, but at least like Dragon Ball, like the canon series, like is not ongoing at the moment.
Yeah.
I think there's gonna be more coming though. There's a meme on YouTube where like these Dragon Ball YouTubers, they always come out with these videos like guaranteed Dragon Ball Super coming out next month or blah blah blah. Like always like, and like the meme is like every time someone announces that Dragon Ball Super is coming out soon, it gets delayed by another year. So I'm just kind of sick of like that. That's the one thing I don't like about Dragon Ball. Like the community on YouTube for that. Like there's a lot of Dragon Ball YouTubers that
just goes, hey Goku, how's it going, buddy?
Annoying. Like, stop spreading misinformation, and like fans are so invested in this that they'll jump at anything, and you're just stirring up like fake news, which is
that's in my opinion that's just people not checking up their sources.
So my number 2, it's split down the middle between a lot of people. Like a lot of people say it isn't anime, a lot of people say it is anime, but when he was still with us, it came out from the creator that he intended this to be a anime, and that is what I labeled it under because the creator said so, and what he says goes. So for my number 2 is Ruby from Rooster Teeth, and I fucking still adore the show and all characters in it. And Jaden, if you remember, I think I actually put the soundtrack for this in my number 1 spot for top 10 anime soundtracks.
Oh, the soundtrack is banging, dude. It is so good.
Oh yeah, like when Ruby was first being brought out, like as a teaser and everything, and we had the red trailer, the white trailer, the black trailer, and the yellow trailer.
Dude, the trailers were so hype. I was so excited when that show was coming out.
Fell in love with Ruby's trailer like immediately, red trailer, because a moonlit field filled with wolves, a character in a red hood with a scythe just decimating all of them to a fucking awesome song, and I fell in love with it, and I was just like, I need to know what this is. So the second that they started releasing it on YouTube in like 5-minute intervals for episodes when they were in their earlier seasons, I religiously watched like I would if it was a Saturday morning cartoon. Whenever one dropped, I would stop doing what I was doing and watch it. And I think that might have been the last show I actually did that with. Because now when they're in later seasons, I'm quite a bit behind, but it's still in that favorite spot for me because of how much I enjoy the world, how much I enjoy the characters. I love the weapons. I love the fights. I love the music. It's just amazing from in every angle in my eyes.
Might as well call this the Gushing Podcast because that's what we do about all our entries.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's top 10 for a reason. It's top.
Ruby.
That's fair.
Ruby was an anime I was really happy Hotshot introduced me to, that I'm watching volume 2 at the moment. I love this anime so much. The characters, I had a lot of criticism of season 1 because I feel like they were still trying to figure out like what they were doing. Season 2, you could see the big difference. You can already see it.
I think when we initially talked about Ruby, I think I was guessing that Blake was going to be your favorite character.
Blake is my favorite character, to be honest. But Ruby, I'm talking about the main character. I was going to get to Blake. But anyways, just to say that like how rootable his character is makes you want to watch the anime even more. That's the way I perceived it. And then just from a production point of view, Ruby's so well put together. Like, bar none. Like, the animation is unique in its way. It's kind of like video gamey, but it works for what it is. I like how raw it is in the sense of like the sound effects design and the music. I just really like the way it's packaged together. Blake to me is a great character because I do feel like there's too much. There's a bit of that friendshipy, happy-go-lucky. I guess too much for me, in my opinion, with a lot of the RWBY characters. But Blake is just like, I hate you all. I'm like, yes, I like you in that case. You know?
Just, I hate everything. Go away.
I would say like Team Ruby is kind of a split down the middle of like the friendship sort of thing. Like I think the two sisters are very much like the all about friendship, but like Weiss is just like
I'm too good for friendship.
Like she thinks she's too good for friendship, but she's not.
But she really wants a friend. Meanwhile, Blake is just stay away. Just stay on your side of the room.
I would say that she kind of grows into like being part of the team as like just
as things
she accepts the friendship a little more gracefully than Weiss does, I would say.
Weiss just kind of like, it's not like I like you or anything, baka.
Oh yeah, she's total tsundere. She doesn't even have to say all the like tsundere catchphrases.
No, she just is tsundere.
Oh yeah, she lives and breathes it.
Oh, this anime is good. This is a good second pick, Hotshot. This is a good second pick. I literally am not going to understand your number one, but it's very Hotshot.
You know what? I think everybody's number one probably speaks to who they are as a person the most.
That's fair.
I am not those people in those.
If you can get away with it, you totally are.
No, I would. I really no. Okay, so this is it, guys. Number one spot. This is the round. Kyo's gonna give his number one. I'm gonna give my number one, and then Hotshot gives his number one. This is it. This is the home stretch. This is, if you are sticking with us to this point, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for sitting through so much of this podcast with us, guys. It means a lot that you guys have watched us for almost 6 years now and 100 episodes, and we hope to keep going.
I'll even take just being background noise.
Yeah.
All right, Kyo, take it away.
All right. Kyo's number one. Absolutely no one saw this one coming. Trigun is my favorite anime of all time.
It's not like you have said that for the last 10 years or something.
Yes, Kyo. Yes. That's a great pick. I love this anime.
What?
Yeah, I'm good.
Are you good?
Sorry. You just sounded you sounded like something went wrong there.
It just reminded me of something. I'll let you know when, after we get Trigun out of the way.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, Trigun is my favorite anime because it was the first adult anime that I watched, because like everybody saw like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, like the anime made to sell toys. But Trigun was the first show where I saw sci-fi Western elements put together, like made into the modern Western, which is like a kind of a cyberpunk, not cyberpunk, I guess diesel punk is probably the best way to describe it, because it's a little more focused on it has technology, but like the advanced technology is not the focus. The focus is the characters and the emotions behind those characters. And a little side of you is a little bit like a little giddy to see like the different guns and the different like the different shootouts that happen later in the show. Like it very much just speaks to my inner child, because like my inner child was always about like playing cowboys and Indians with other kids. Like that was something I did a lot when I was little.
I mean, I can see that.
Trigun, well, I mean, it wasn't Trigun, cowboys and Indians because like we were told not to do that, but
well, then it can be cowboys and aliens, because that's where Trigun is.
Essentially.
Well, it's so Trigun I knew about, but ever so slightly before you actually introduced me to the real show. I hung out with a couple who were good friends of mine, and I went with the guy to pick up the girl at her place. And at the time, they were watching Trigun, and like every so often, we would have popped over, and they were still watching Trigun, but it was different parts in the show. So the first episode I actually watched was Wolfwood's introduction, and then later on down the road, like 2 or 3 visits later, I actually started to really like Wolfwood as much as I saw him on the show. And then a few visits later was his death. And I was just like, oh, fuck.
Oh my God. I got so mad at Kyo when that happened. I was like, you can't do that to me. You can't do that to me like that. Oh.
I was just like,
I actually
no,
like this one.
damn it, no.
I was just like, you have fun with that episode, buddy.
I mean, yeah, Kyo actually talked to me in person about how you reacted when you finally got to that point, Jaden, about you texting him and everything.
Literally, like, just like
He was
walls of all
sending-
caps. No.
Austin or Jaian was sending me like messages like second by second as he was watching the episodes. I was like, dude, I'm glad you're having fun, but I've
to
got
be
shit
honest,
to
that's
do
your reaction
right
every
now.
time I message you.
Because we always have shit to do.
It is. unless it's podcast related. I'm like, dude, I'm busy.
Like, I know we're good friends, and trust me, we are good friends, but I, as a good friend, I also have my own life.
And I'm like, that makes no sense. We're talking about the podcast. The podcast is life.
And that's why I always ask for a break.
I don't understand that word.
so much of this.
I know you don't understand what I means, but I know you understand
Nice.
break.
But let's get back to Trigon, though. I loved Vash's character. I really like the fact that he had this complexity where he never wanted to kill anyone. You know what I mean? He never wanted to hurt anyone, but he's put in situations where he's forced to do so. That's classically, how can I say? Not classic. That's a great way to just show his struggle and what he's going through emotionally, that he's not just this warrior, you know what I mean? And for the longest time, the first few episodes, they don't even know that he's the wanted Vash, you know? Like, they don't even know that he's Vash the Stampede. 20 billion or 20 million double dollars, you know what I mean?
60 billion.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Crazy amounts of double dollars.
He's like, get the number right. Damn.
I'm that much of a nerd about it. I know the numbers and shit. I even calculated that Vash is like 150 years old.
I remember that.
The fact that you calculated
I remember that on the podcast. You're like, I was so confused. I was like, you mean right now? He's like, no, not right now. Like, just in general. I was like, what do you mean? Like, do you keep track of it mathematically? He's like, no, it's just never mind.
I actually did like pull up the old podcast that we did, like the side one that we did a couple years back. I just listened to it yesterday and I was like, man, it's been a long time since
I remember you being in your car burning up, and the second we stopped the podcast, you're like, and you just opened every window in your car.
Oh, that's right. I was in the parking lot when I did that. I had to close all my windows, and I had my microphone with me, and we did that podcast. It was like an hour or something, and then
oh my gosh,
I was like, dude, I need to go. It is hot in here. It was like the middle of summer or something like that, and like
I think that was because of how bad you were screaming at Jaden to stop. I know that didn't help.
Is there anything you want to add to about Trigon Hotshot, or anything you want to add, Kyo?
Not that I haven't said already. I really do enjoy Trigun, like, especially since Kyo actually showed me the show. I love Vash. I love Wolfwood. I love Meryl and Millie. I was still my least favorite part is Wolfwood dying, but I'm just like,
I mean, to be fair, when your least favorite episode is an episode where
your favorite character dies.
Yeah. Like, I think that speaks volumes about how good the show is. So
yeah, and you're 100% right.
Thank you.
But so before we move on to your number one, Jaden, the reason why I was like, oh fuck, before we start talking about Trigon is because looking down Kyo's list, I actually realized another one I could have put on my list, but I didn't think about it at the time. Desert Punk. I could have totally put Desert Punk on mine.
Oh man.
But yeah, but I just didn't think about it by the time that we had our list made. But looking at Cowboy Bebop, Gun X Sword, Trigun, I'm like, wait, there's a show like that I adore. Oh, fuck.
I think I just watched like a lot of apocalyptic gunslinger shows back in the day.
I mean, I'm looking at your list. Yeah, no, you totally did.
That's most of my list anyway, isn't it?
To be fair, our lists, like, individually all share like one stereotype. Yours is apocalyptic gunslinger. Jaden's is like intellectual and story driven. Mine's just mainly pervy. It's like
Yeah, I guess
pervy
there
and
is a
fun,
bit of-
pervy and funny or mine, really.
I guess a little bit of fan service is in just about each one of these, maybe save for Ruby.
Yeah. Well, no, it's in Ruby.
Hey.
Where?
Death Note is a hilarious anime. Okay? It's the funniest
I
anime
know.
out
I
there.
love the people dying, and I love the apple. The apple is my favorite character.
I just hate the anime in general.
It doesn't say a
Hotshot,
fucking word.
What do you hate more, Totoro or Death Note? Be honest.
Totoro.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm going to my next pick. Before I fly over to the States.
I'll go into hiding. We
Okay.
don't know where we are.
My number one pick. I mean, if you listen to this podcast, you know what my number one pick is, and it's an anime that honestly, like, it is with me emotionally, and like I think about like every week, and it part of my life. Like how can I say? I feel like I live a bit of my life through this anime just because I always think about the music. I'm always thinking about a scene. I'm always thinking about a character. This anime really is very oftenly in the back of my mind. I'm talking about Zankyo no Terror, or Terror in Resonance for the dub people. So basically the way this anime goes, in a alternate version of like present day, Tokyo is under attack by these terrorist bombings, and the only evidence they have about these terrorist bombings, is a YouTube video uploaded the same day, of two teenagers covered with their masks, saying, "Oh, there's gonna be an explosion over here," like just kind of like hinting at the possibility of an explosion, and then the whole police task force is forced to like figure out what is going on. What's these two teenagers are about? What's going on here? I really don't want to spoil this because I really want people to watch this anime. The story is so beautiful to me. It's so intellectually stimulating. The characters are super deep. I love how we go from figuring out nothing, having no information, and slowly developing an understanding as to why these attacks are happening. There's a story behind this. There's a reason why this is happening. And the music is beautiful. Yoko Kanno is my favorite music composer for film, and I'm so happy this anime was created because it touches me on multiple emotional levels, and it means a lot to me. It really comes from the bottom of my heart when I say this, that this anime helped me get through like hard times, and I always enjoy discussing it on the podcast, and I really am happy with the fact that I did one episode about it with Hotshot and one episode about it with Kyo. I've read every subreddit post about this anime. I've listened to every podcast about this anime. I've listened to this anime. I watched this anime maybe like 3-4 times. My friend had the DVD. I stole the DVD from him. I gave it back. And I have posters of this. I am just like all over the place about this anime. I love it so much, and I highly, highly recommend it. So, Kyo or Hotshot, whoever wants to go first, without spoiling.
I was not remotely surprised that you put this at your number one. Guys, like, you have no idea. Jaian was like changing his Facebook profile to the characters for a while. Like, I was seeing like the imagery from Terror in Resonance like everywhere for a while. I wasn't turned off by it. I was just like, this is just a Jaian thing. It'll blow over. He still keeps like on occasion, I'll still see like a Terror in Resonance like post here and there on his personal Facebook
love this anime,
page.
bro.
I can
love
tell.
this anime.
I can very much tell that Jaian is still into this anime, and I can't say that that there's a bad reason, or that there's any bad reason to like this show. There is absolutely no reason to. Sorry, I got to reword that.
I was going to say it might make you feel like a horrible person.
Yeah. I don't think that there's any reason for it to be considered a bad anime. I think it's a really good anime. I actually think it's like intellectually, it's very stimulating for me. Like, I think that I like the emotion behind it, the story that goes through. But personally, for me, I don't like it as much as Jaian. I think it's just that for me, like, when it comes to stories or anime, it has to grasp me in a certain way. It's not necessarily explainable. I think it has I think for me, it sort of has a Death Note quality minus the supernatural elements. I'm not a huge fan of realism. Is my problem. Like if you're gonna make an anime or a cartoon or whatever or what have you, if you're gonna make media in general, for me personally, I think that you should make it like fantastical. I think it should be a spectacle of some kind, and I don't hate Terror and Resonance for that. I think that with what it handled and what it was good. It was hell. It was great, even, especially considering it's so very different from the other two shows that Watanabe has worked on. Like it stands out between the three. Like while Samurai Champloo has its grounds in reality, it's got a little bit of like suspension of disbelief because it's got the whole samurai angle, and there's always kind of that romanticizing of that era. But with Terror and Resonance, it's focused entirely in real life for the most part. Like there is the government experimentation thing, but it still plays itself off as realistic, and I don't hate it for that. I think it's just not so much my cup of tea, because if I want to see something realistic, I would watch something that's in live action. That's just my personal taste, though.
You could always watch the Zenki no Terror musical. That's based on real life.
Oh my god.
I know you already told me about that, but no. I still don't decide to believe that exists.
Now that would push it over into the realm of fantasy for me, making it into a musical.
It is a musical.
I know.
It's a musical stage play.
Yeah, I know. Fucking Death Note
where they
has
blow
one.
up the stage at the end.
Freaking Naruto has a stage play. Musical
Mario
stage play.
has a stage play. Mario has an ice play, actually.
Japan, what is with you guys and your freaking stage plays?
Hey, it's still
God.
entertainment.
Yeah.
It's
Hotshot,
so
your thoughts
odd.
on Zenki no Terror before we wrap it up? You lost the bet to watch this anime, right?
I lost the bet and I watched it, yeah. And honestly, even if I hadn't lost the bet and I still watched it, I still really don't know how I would feel about it. I'm just like, I don't really care about it, like, at all. Like, I did love Lucy, and I did love, I believe, 12. Is it 12 or 9?
You like 12. Like? 12 is the funny one, and
Thank
it's
you.
Lisa.
Not Lucy. Lisa and 12. I really did like them, and I liked the relationship that they built throughout the show. But aside from that, I'm just like, okay, what you're saying and what
I
you're
remember
playing
you
is,
saying on the
podcast
podcast that we did about it that as a reviewer you gave it like an 8 out of 10, but as a personal you gave it like a 4 out of 10. Do you still feel that same way?
I honestly do, because like I said, as a reviewer, like, it is a really, really good crafted story. If you're willing, it makes sense. You can actually get into it, and I can see why it's beloved by people who do know it. But for my personal tastes, no, not at all. No, take it away. I like it less than Death Note. No, actually, that's not true. But
no, dude, you absolutely despise Death Note.
I like Death Note less than this. I will be fully honest there. It's just the fact that I cannot get into shows like this, and I'm just like, I realize I lost a bet, and I realize this is your favorite show, but that doesn't mean I'm inclined to like your favorite show.
No, of course.
So, and that's really how I feel about Terror and Resonance. I honestly do wish I liked it more, but I just can't.
I think Austin kind of has
it's too in-depth for me to enjoy.
Sorry, Austin.
What?
That I started to interrupt. I didn't know that you weren't finished.
No, I just finished. Go ahead.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, I think that you have the same thing that I do. It's like if it's realistic, then it's not as appealing, because like the whole point of media is to kind of be an escape from reality.
Yeah.
Like,
which is how I still really strongly feel.
Yeah. I think Austin would have liked it more maybe if there was a baby dragon girl in there somewhere.
Fucking hell. Sad thing is, you're not wrong, and I'm upset by that.
Go ahead, Hotshot. Let's go for your final one.
Yeah, my final one.
The last pick of the podcast, if I recall.
That means the podcast final one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one that I talked about briefly, Kyo and I found this one out together and watched it and immediately fell in love. Jaden, you never will watch this. I know that going in. So I put my favorite anime as Keijo, also known as Hip Whip Girl.
Just to spite me, by the way, guys.
In Japanese,
Just to spite me. This is why he's not
Yeah,
kidding.
it's only to spite him. It's everything that Jaden doesn't like in an anime, and that's why I like it. It has cute girls. Jaden doesn't like that in his shows. It has fan service. Jaden doesn't like that in his shows. It has comedy. His favorite one is about terrorism. He doesn't like comedy.
That's a hot shot right there.
That is a hot shot.
He just made the joke, yo. Come on.
I'm sorry.
But in all seriousness, I really do like Keijo because it is more free spirited. It is more open and really more lighthearted. It's about a group of will-be superstars learning the art of Keijo, of sports play. But what Keijo is it is a game where you have to bump your opponents off the ring or off the land when you're surrounded by water using just your boobs and your butts. That is the game. And it is extremely exaggerated. There are techniques they use, there are references they use. It's filled with comedy. Nozomi is the best, and I love her. She's amazing. And she's always just as some protagonists like will lose the battle and just like, I'm not so sure I can do this. Nozomi just gets knocked over and like, these guys are like way, like levels way above me. So how do I compete with them, but I can still do this? She's still willing to accept to learn from her flaws and everything. That's why I love her so much. Because it's not just like, I have no chance in beating him. Like, I just need more time, and then I can kick your ass. And the other characters we meet, Kawaii, who's off the field, she's like the sweetest character that you'll ever meet. And all she wants is to like find a boyfriend. But on the ring, she is a brutal murderer on the court. She will knock your ass out faster than you can see her. And you just meet a whole bunch of like these other characters like Non, who's kind of a bubbly southern speaking girl, somewhat ditzy, but like not much that'll influence her really all that much. Alba, the quiet book study, who is later on down the line has her own arc, and it's kind of beautiful. And as silly as this premise is, and believe me, it's fucking absurd. You're fighting people with boobs and butts. It's absurd even just by that level. The ending of it, where they're in the finals for the Keijo graduation, essentially, to graduate from school in order to move to the actual sport. The ending of it, where Nozomi is fighting the final one from the top level school, the ending always makes me tear up, and I don't know why. Nothing is at stake. Nothing is really being lost other than just like, it's just their progress that they've made from coming this far. And it always makes me tear up, and it's so silly, but I still love it, and that's why it's my number one spot.
I even showed
from crying, from actually like being emotionally connected to these characters.
Exactly. But in all seriousness, like this anime like is so silly to me that you being able to have like that form of emotional connection, and the fact that he beats out Data Live too, like putting all that into perspective, I'm just like,
took us 100 episodes in 4 hours.
I even showed Austin Angel Beats. I don't know how far you've gotten into that, Jaian, but it gets sad.
Right.
And this motherfucker didn't cry at it once.
If I'm being real, I could probably select Ruby and Keijo together, but at the same time, I might just like Keijo just a little bit more. I don't know why, but I do. I don't have an argument for it.
Sometimes you just need to turn off your brain.
my Hotshot. This show is so you though, and genuinely, I'm happy you found it.
It is,
because I could tell how much it means to you, and that's I just
find it
awesome.
Hilarious that like, you know what I mean? How much of a connection you have with Terran
like,
Resonance. I have with a show that's literally just about boobs.
Yeah, I mean,
butts.
I'm reading the IMDb this game sport known as Keijo, in which contestants stand on floating platforms and must push each other off using their breasts and buttocks. Like, I mean, that's
me. I fucking adore Keijo, and I will happily watch it over and over and over.
Oh my god.
I think I have watched it like 3 times total.
3?
I've watched it without you.
Oh. Well, I was just
in the time where you weren't always home.
Let's review one more time what the top 10s were. I will start with mine. My honorable mention was GX, and then 10 was Samurai Champloo, 9 Cowboy Bebop, 8 My Hero Academia, 7 Naruto, 6 One Punch Man, 5 Attack on Titan, 4 Yu Yu Hakusho, 3 Death Note, 2 Dragon Ball, and 1 Terror in Resonance.
Yo, you want to go next?
Honorable mention for me was Fullmetal Alchemist and Brotherhood. Number 10 was Dead Man Wonderland. 9, D Gray Man. 8, Dragon Maid. 7, Naruto. 6, Panty and Stocking. 5, Kill la Kill. 4, Soul Eater. 3, Cowboy Bebop. 2, Gun X Sword. And number 1, Trigun.
And mine was honorable mention Rosario Vampire and Desert Punk. I'm throwing it in there just because I want to. Number 10, One Piece. 9, Lucky Star. 8, Assassination Classroom. 7, My Hero Academia. 6, Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt. 5, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. 4, Fairy Tail. 3, Date Alive. 2, Ruby. And 1, Keijo.
Amazing stuff, guys. Guys, I just want to take a moment and, like, first of all, thank you, Kyo, and thank you, Hotshot. I cannot believe we made it to 100. We've officially... 100, dude. What the? How? When? What? How did that happen? That's crazy. I'm just saying, man. Like, I love you guys so much, and this podcast has a very special place in my heart, in my life, and I wouldn't do it with anybody else, honestly. Like, just a big thank you to you, Hotshot, for being who you are and being hilarious and being patient, very patient, and being a great host. I know I get mad at you for bits and stuff like that, but honestly, bro, like, ride or die, bro, for this podcast, honestly.
I kind of feel the same, ride or die, but it's every episode you get close to the die. No, I'm kidding. It really does mean a lot, and I am happy that even though I stepped in like episode 20 or so for an actual co-host, that I've actually stayed with you that long. It actually does mean a lot.
It means the world to me. And Kyo, all of your artwork, I just, words cannot describe how lucky this podcast is to have you be a part of it. I'm just very thankful, very grateful, and it's not the same without you as well. I mean, your input on like your criticisms and letting us know what you think. It's like you're like a ghost host in a sense that you come sometimes and then you're in the shadows and you kind of let us know what's going on, and then you just throw like artwork at us and we're like, dude, this guy's fantastic. Get some GoProkyo artwork right now. Like, go check out his website. Go follow him on Twitter. Dude, you tattooed someone who listened to us. Like, that's fantastic. You made an artwork for the tattoo. Sorry. That's so cool.
I didn't tattoo somebody, but I did draw the design for a tattoo. I don't know if the guy's listening, but thank you so much for commissioning me. It was really a fun experience to work with you. I hope you're listening right now.
Yes.
I hope you enjoyed our podcast.
Okay,
today.
so on that note, you can follow the podcast at Anime Podcasters wherever you'd like. You make sure to catch the new episode of Get Back Your Hotshot that is going to be out by the time you're listening to this episode of the podcast. And you just follow me at JaianMusic everywhere. Leave us a review on ratethispodcast.com/anime podcasters. And just a big thank you. Here's to another episode this month. I don't know how long we're going to ride down this thing until the wheels fall off. So that's going to be everything for me. Hotshot, go ahead. Where can people find you?
You guys can find me right here on JaianMusic. Just check out the anime podcast playlist. That's where I am. I'm nowhere else. You guys can also find me on my channel for PonsuCast that I do with GoProkyo, where we talk about more of the, as Jaden puts it, hotshot shows of anime. And you guys can also find me over on Twitter at Caution Ginger.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at GoProkyo. You guys can also find my voice acting page, Church VA. Just new Twitter account and new YouTube account that I'm doing, where I'm gonna separate my my artwork and my voiceover. Just so I can have the separation and I can just like post things and feel a little more organized. And you guys can also check out my website. Should be wixsite.goprokyoarts. And you guys can find my commission prices, some of the work that I've done. Most of it is work that I've done with anime podcasters. Others are logo designs that I've done for people. If you guys want to hire me, I have some fairly reasonable prices. You guys can definitely go check out my hiring page, and I would be very happy to discuss it with you. Otherwise, you guys can find me here on Anime Podcasters on occasion.
All right, perfect. So for myself and GoProkyo and Hotshot and every single other person who has listened to this podcast, contributed to this podcast over the last 100 episodes, this has been another episode of
Anime Podcasters.
Bye.
Bye, guys.